Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. We'll do some card readings tonight if you want. If I can remember where I've put them. There they am. And we'll also have a bit of a chat later. What's Stephen saying? It's his channel. Brett can do what he wants. I found God now still not right. Oh, I wonder what Stephen was putting then. Right, you just start noting the names down, Andy, and I'll do them in order of
Yep, no worries.
whoever's on, um, depending on who wants to go first, and then we can make a start. I've got my cards ready. I've polished the glass so you can't see the dust on it.
Oh, I'm just gonna.
I keep checking the dust on my DVD. I deliberately ain't dusted my DVD. I want to see if any more scribbles come on it at any point.
Any more? Yeah, definitely.
And I'm frightened to dust it in case, I'll do it just before somebody wants to write me a message. Right, Sam wants one as well. I think Stephen wants another one. Uh, so you'll have to start with your list, Andy, and tell me who's first.
Uh, I've got two people at least that said they were coming in to have one done. Have we got Ellen or Jamie? Have either of them two come in yet?
Well, we'll just slot them in whenever they pop in.
Yeah. Right then, so number three, Stephen.
Right,
So
okay.
we'll go Stephen.
We'll start with Stephen then. Okay. Right, now I've got to start off putting them in the right place because I have to fit them on the screen just right. Tell me they fit on the screen, okay? Can you all see
Yeah, looks
them?
good. Looks good.
We've got Judgment, the High Priestess, the Star, and the Empress. Past, present, future, final outcome. Um, right, Stephen. I think you got this last week with your Judgment card. And I think you got the High Priestess as well. This is coming out very similar to what we had last week. Again, it's emphasising this judgment in the past. There's definitely, judgment going on here. People making not necessarily known judgments linking to the High Priestess because the High Priestess is a sign of secrecy. So this is more, I should say, this is more an indication of judgments that you weren't aware of at the time. Judgments that have been made in secrecy behind your back, or judgments you've just basically not been aware of. Again, I get the sense they weren't necessarily positive judgments against you, but I do believe that they are actually incorrect judgments. As you can see, the High Priestess sits between two pillars, a black and a white, which signifies negative and positive. I've no idea what it is, Stephen, but it's judgment in the past. It's judgment in the recent past, which links into the High Priestess, which, when linked round judgment, is normally of a negative nature, but not. When I say negative, I don't mean nasty negative. It's just not favourable to you. I do believe it's a woman. It's definitely a woman because it's the High Priestess, and it's a woman who tends to be quite secretive in nature. Likes to accumulate knowledge of people and situations, but doesn't necessarily share that knowledge. Uses it for their own ends. And I believe whatever this judgment is, it's involving more than one person. But this woman who's doing this in secret is the ringleader of it. It's really odd that you've got that 2 weeks on the trot, but it's definitely something it's moving from your recent past into your present, and it's telling me it's this woman, it's this secretive woman. Yes, Jacob, the readings are free. I don't charge anybody for anything. Um, and like I say, it's done without your knowledge. It ain't somebody who's coming up and doing it to your face. It's somebody who's doing it behind your back. This is what the High Priestess is signifying, linked to judgment. The good thing is, because the other side of the High Priestess is the star, which is like open good fortune. Whatever she's doing is doomed to failure anyway, and it's going to turn out positive for you. You're going to have a lot of self-control regarding it, but I'm telling you, Stephen, this judgment of you, it's going to come to light soon, because it's showing it's showing in your present, but it's saying leading up into the future. Um, it is going to be a positive aspect for you. Whatever they do, whatever they say, whatever they try, is not going to have a negative impact. You're going to come out okay with it, because it's linked to the star, and the star is hope. But it's also showing that you've got to have a lot of self-control around this situation, because otherwise you're going to make it worse. You'll make it worse if you don't exercise a bit of self-control over it. But you're definitely going to become aware of this judgment soon, Stephen, within weeks or coming months, 2 months max, I'd say. It's a very funny combination to have twice. I've no idea, Miriam. Andy will tell you in a minute. Again, linking into the future is the star, which is like I said, is hopes, dreams, things like that. It is showing a positive future for you, Stephen. There's nothing negative there whatsoever. And the final outcome is the Empress, which is the feminine aspect of power, which I know is an odd thing to say, but she also represents contentment, not just from a female point of view, but contentment in general. Um, it's also indicating, linking back to the other three cards, that this is all flowing around family. This is definitely all flowing around family. Again, it reinforces the High Priestess card, that this woman, this person who is causing issues at the moment, is definitely female, most definitely female. But it's saying leading up into the future, things are going to get better. Um, they're not going to have an overall negative impact on your life, and it's like basically a storm in a teacup. But it will get sorted. But there is a sign at the end that success for you, and control, and basically things are going to turn out okay. There's nothing nasty showing up. It's just that this warning is coming about this deceit this around you at the moment, and it's funny that you've got it 2 weeks on the trot. It is very, very important, because it's been reinforced 2 weeks in a row. So just be aware of it. But like I say, leading up into your recent future, because it's the star, it's going to have a positive outcome anyway. So whatever they do is not going to cause you any serious issues long term. Could just be a minor family squabble. But I do get the impression that there's more people than this woman involved at the time. But this woman is definitely the ringleader. And because it's the Empress represents mother figure, aunt, sister, that type of thing. So it could possibly be a sister, mother. I wouldn't think it'd be your mother anyway, but that's just that's just the impression I'm getting off the cards. It's a close female family relative, definitely. It's definitely a female relative, and quite close family, I would say. But like I say, it is definitely going to turn out positive for you. It's just a warning to be aware, I think, more than anything else. So I hope that helps, Stephen. That's the best I can do with it at the moment, because that's all I'm getting off the cards is that. There you go. Oh.
Right.
Andy, can you just chat a sec, because the phone's
Yeah,
ringing.
no worries.
Cheers, thanks.
Kind of quite amazing how that tallied up to the last reading, that, Stephen. Obviously something you've got to really take note of there, matey. So yeah, if anybody would like to get on list for a reading from Brett, just please ask in chat and we'll add you to the list. Next up we've got Ellen, so I hope you're ready. And then we've got Jamie, then Sam, then Marion, and then Jacob. So if anybody would like the name add-in. She's ready, look.
I'm back, Andy. Sorry, it was just Jace telling me that he was back. Okay.
No worries. Vicky, yeah, I'll add you to the list. So next up, Brett, we've got Ellen.
Ellen, okie dokie.
And I've added Lizzie as well.
Stephen, at some point this week, to be honest with you, if you want to, and if you've got Skype, I'll do you a more extended reading about that, because I just find that really interesting that that judgment thing has come up twice in 1 week. So, it is emphasising the importance of it. There's something going on there, so if you want to later in the week, I'll do a Skype with you and we'll narrow it down a bit more. Oh, Ellen. Right, Ellen, you've got strength, the tower, the lovers, and justice. Right, let me just look at them for a second, see what I get off them. Oh, this is an interesting one, Andy.
It is.
Right, Ellen. What I'm seeing in your recent past is there's some kind of struggle been going on. I don't know whether it's a physical struggle, mental struggle, spiritual struggle. I ain't quite sure, but there's some kind of conflict there where there's been a struggle. I get the impression it's more of a personal, mental type of struggle. I don't know, maybe your belief systems have been challenged recently, or there's been a change of beliefs, but I get the impression it's actually more of a mental, spiritual type thing. Oh, I wish I could turn these bloody notifications off. But yeah, there's definitely some kind of conflict going on. It's see, strength card is normally positive, but because it's right next to the tower and there's nothing the other side of it, it's actually showing the negative side of strength, which doesn't necessarily mean weakness. Strength card normally signifies conflict more so than weakness. So that is why I'm getting the weakness, the conflict side of it. There's definitely some kind of spiritual conflict that's going on. Leading into the present, there's massive changes coming for you because it's the tower. And as people will tell you who come on here and normally watch this, for me, I consider this the most negative of all the cards of the tarot deck. The fact it's surrounded by two cards that are pretty much positive weakens the effect of the tower, but it is saying that there's a this conflict you've had recently is going to spill over into the present, and there's going to be drastic changes coming, massive changes, totally out of the blue, as the lightning bolt suggests. It's going to be a burning away of old beliefs, old lifestyles, and you're gonna start on a new journey. It's definitely relating to your mental, spiritual side of things. It's not a life thing. It's an inward thing, not an outward thing. Because it leads on to the lovers, which obviously represents love in one aspect, but it also expresses opposites. Your male and your female, your good and your bad, your positive and your negative, and watched over. So basically, what that's telling me is that there's guidance again coming, and I get the impression it's not going to be a person in the physical world, there's going to be some kind of guidance coming from the spiritual world that is going to let you know that this conflict that's coming, and this total destruction of your beliefs, you're going to get guidance from something spiritually, not physically, that is going to let you know that it's actually the right decision you're making. Um, it's going to be quite disruptive for you. Um, oh God, these fucking blip blip blip. Sorry, folks. Um, this entire reading to me is coming across as spiritual, not physical. It's mental and spiritual. Um, the mountain behind them is jumping out at the moment, which tells me that you're traveling. You're going to be traveling on a new path towards something. You know, you've got a new destination. It is off in the distance, but you're going to be traveling towards it. That's what I'm getting off this card, and this is going to be your recent future. Definitely your recent future. There's going to be this total destruction of a belief system or whatever it is, or a turning around of a belief system. Not necessarily a total destruction, because it's got positive sides, positive cards either side of it. But there's definitely some kind of upheaval spiritually coming. And like I say, it's going to set you on a new path. You're going to have a set goal that you're leading towards, as is signified by the mountain. There's going to be guidance, but it's going to be guidance from the spiritual realms rather than the physical realms. And you're not going to do it alone. There's going to be others with you. So, you know, there's not going to be you setting off on this journey alone. There's going to be others setting on the journey with you. Because it leads up to the final overall card as justice. What that basically says to me is it's reinforcing the right decision. That there's going to be a balance, because justice is represented by scales, and they always refer to the scales of justice being balanced. And what this is telling me is that although there's this turmoil at the moment, it is eventually, you're going to go through this journey, and it is eventually going to lead to some kind of balance at the end of it. You're going to find the balance that you're looking for. I don't think where you are currently is where you need to be, or where you necessarily want to be. But it is saying that the changes are coming, and they're coming now, and they're going to be big. It's going to be an upheaval, but you are going to get guidance to do it. You're not going to take the journey alone, and ultimately, it's going to be the right decision. It's going to balance your lifestyle perfectly. So I hope that helps, Ellen. But it is an interesting one, very interesting one. But just expect the big changes coming up round about now, because you've got the tower in the present, and it's always nicer to have the tower either in the past or the present rather than the future or the final outcome.
Definitely.
Most definitely. But not a bad reading, Ellen, to be honest with you.
Mm.
But it'll be interesting to see, and all this is going to happen, Andy, in the next 6 months. It's leading up to the 6 months.
Cool.
You'll have to excuse me with the chat, guys, because while I'm doing this, I don't really pay much attention to the chat. So shout out anything important, Andy, because I'll probably be missing it.
Yeah, will do. She said that was wonderful, thank you.
Right, okay.
Next up, we've got Jamie, Miss Firestarter.
Oh, the pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll probably end up with a load of fire cards here. Oh, and it gets the elemental card straight away. Interesting one.
Mm-hmm. I can tell already.
Mm-hmm. Right, Jamie. Wheel of Fortune. When this comes in the past, this to me always signifies more the person than the past. As I'm seeing it at the moment, it's just saying that, in the past you've been happy-go-lucky. More relying on chance and fate than more so um, personal guidance, shall I say. You've been more blown about by the winds of fate than you have your own goals. Uh, it does signify a changing of luck. I don't think it's a negative one because it's next to the Hermit, but I think what that's coming to me at the moment is the wheels turning upwards for you, not downwards. Your luck is about to change, but linking in with the Hermit, you've got to go. You've got to do a bit of um, self evaluation. Is probably the best way of putting it. You're gonna have to go inwards more so than outwards at the moment to sort out problems surrounding you and things that are going on in your life. It's basically saying when those two are together, is to actually the only way you're going to change your luck or the only way you're going to improve your luck is by self effort, and that is strongly signified by the Hermit. The Hermit also, because he's got the lantern raised up, is illumination, which is a dawning of new ideas or dawning of a new lifestyle, dawning, change of house, something like that. It's an illumination. It's something new. It's a revealing of things. So basically, what it's saying is stop relying on fate. Stop letting yourself get blown around by the winds of fate, and start more on the self-reliance side of things. Because linking into your immediate future is the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is a sign of going on a journey, but it's a journey that requires decision, as is signified by the two Sphinxes. At the moment, for me, I ain't getting the impression that these two Sphinxes are pulling apart. I'm just getting the impression that there's a good and bad balance here that is actually working together. The balance is there, so it's a smooth journey, but it's one that's got a link back to the Hermit, which saying it's a self-regulated journey. There's change coming for you. There's going to be some kind of epiphany, is probably the best word to put, around you at the moment, that is going to lead to this journey. I ain't saying it again. I don't think it's a material journey. I think it's more of an inwards type of journey, learning of new ideas, maybe even changing of beliefs. I don't know. I just get the impression it's more of a trip of self discovery, shall I say? Um, not a bad one. The only problem is it links towards the devil. Now, the devil is the sign of bondage and entrapment. Um, Claire, I can't answer these messages while I'm doing these readings. I'll speak to you in a bit. Um, what that is saying to me is that's coming as a warning. Be careful how you take this journey. Linking back to the Hermit, again, it's got to be a self-discovery journey. You can't take outside influences into account. This is something you've got to do by going straight down the. You got to go straight down the line and work this out for yourself, because otherwise it's saying you're going to end up in a worse situation than you are now, because you're starting with the Wheel of Fortune and ending with the Devil, which is, relying on fate at the start and ending up entrapped at the end if you're not careful. But because it's the Hermit, which is a sign of self-reliance, and you've got the Chariot, which is new discoveries, new journeys, those two are positive cards. But and your Wheel of Fortune is a neutral card. The only negative card you've got is the Devil, which isn't necessarily negative, but it's more of a warning, because it's with two positives and a neutral. It's a weakened form of the Devil. So basically, what that's saying is you could end up getting yourself in a rut if you don't keep yourself on the straight and narrow. And I don't mean criminally or anything like that. It's just your thought process. You've got to set your goals and go for them. But the Devil, I just think, is coming as more of a warning than an actual pronunciation sort of thing. There's no, it's not bad. It's not bad in this reading. Had it have been with more negative cards, I would have said it was the more negative aspects of the card, but it's not. You've got two positives and a neutral, so it's a very weakened form of the Devil. But it is definitely a warning, just to be careful as you go through the transitions now, and as you go through this, and it is a self-discovery thing. You're gonna invent a new Jamie, so to speak, but make sure you ain't developing a Jamie that gets you trapped into situations you don't want to be. You'll end up, if as long as you set your goal and you keep your eye on the goal, you'll end up with a better Jamie. So I hope that helps. Quite an interesting reading, that one, Andy.
I love the criminal behaviour bit.
Yeah. Well, when you say keep yourself on the straight and narrow, people straight away presume you're talking about, legal things, and it ain't.
In other words, Jamie, put the lighter and the matches down.
Jamie, it could be what that reading was saying is whatever you choose to do, set your goals and go for them. It can be as kinky as you want it, but you've got to set the goals and stick to them. Basically, it's saying it's time to stop relying on luck and letting the world control you, and you control the world. Is basically what it's saying. Sam, right?
Yes, we've got Sam next.
I hope there's no reference to dollies in this. Whoa. Okay. Right, Sam.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Right, your immediate past. What this is saying to me is there's been a lot of changes recently surrounding you, and I think this is in reference to personal life, more so than belief and physical stuff. I get the impression that this death card is relating to personal life. There's been massive changes recently. I know you've had health problems and stuff, so it could be referring to that, but I believe it's talking about your personal life in general, that maybe health issues have actually reflected on a wider scale of things, and you've had to make a lot of readjustment in the recent past concerning these changes. It's not negative in any way, Sam. It's just basically saying that these changes have been drastic. They've literally been there's been lots of little deaths around you, and I don't mean physical deaths. I mean deaths of ideas, deaths of personal things, personal life things more so than actual deaths of people. But linking into the sun in the present, it is saying that things are getting better for you now. The sun's starting to shine in your present. I get the impression you're not fully over what's been going on concerned to the death card, but I do get the impression with the sun, because it is a very, very positive card, that all these massive changes, they're now coming to an end, and what the new things that are around you now are good for you. It was probably hard, and there's probably been some difficult adjustments to make, but what the sun is telling me is that these adjustments, you've actually come to terms with things, things you may never get back again, but you've come to terms with it, and you're present. You're in quite a sunny. Oh, what's the word? Opportunity and stuff at the moment is sunny. Is positive, just basically positive. I do get the impression that there's going to be a bit of travelling coming up for you. I ain't saying you're going to be travelling the world, but I do think that there's going to be more. You're going to get out more, because to me the horse is jumping off the card. Not so much the rider, but the horse, and the horse always signifies. The horse always signifies to me travel, but the rider ain't standing out in the card at the moment, just the horse itself, which tells me you're going to start getting out more. You're going to start coming up with a lot more opportunities, Sam, and they're good opportunities. Again, reinforced by the chariot, which is journeys and constant movement. So coming up, there's going to be massive changes, lots of travelling, And again, like I say, I don't get the impression it's going abroad. I think it's within where you live, the area where you live. But it's just telling me that you're going to start getting out a lot more. It's telling me your health is going to stabilise, and that is going to allow it's going to broaden your horizons basically. Um, there's also a warning there in your future that somebody may try to interfere with something you're doing, but you've got the strength to overcome it. You're going to see the right from the wrong of it, if you know what I mean. Um, it's going to be betrayal by a friend, and when I say betrayal, I don't mean it's going to be a nasty negative thing, but you're going to feel that a close friend may be betraying you, or going off at a tangent that don't really suit your lifestyle. But you're going to keep control of the situation. The only problem you've got to watch is the tower has dropped in your final outcome, which again is another sign of massive change. But because you've got the sun, and the chariot leading up to it, I think this is more so. I don't think this is signifying a future. I think this is running on from the three cards. These three cards. Hi, Joanne. These three cards are linking up to the tower, which is saying to me that there's going to be a breakdown of ideas, but not to the extent that they're going to have a negative impact. Again, this is all about movement and change, because both cards at either end of your reading are change cards. Death and the tower. Death signifies obviously deaths of things. The tower signifies destruction, unexpected. But because it's linked with positive cards, it's a very, very weakened form of the tower. So what that is saying is there's going to be a breakdown. Again, there's going to be a breakdown of ideas, possibly leading from this friendship thing. And it may signify, I think, to be honest with you, Sam, I think it's linking more to telling you there's going to be an ending of a friendship, or the ending of a relationship you considered to be a friendship. Um, I ain't getting I ain't getting whether it's a close friend or an acquaintance, but there's definitely going to be an ending of a friendship due to the differing opinions over something. Linking back to the chariot, it's the pulling in different directions. There's gonna be a point coming up soon where a friend is going to put you in a situation where they're wanting to go one way and you're wanting to go the other, and they're going to give you an ultimatum that you're not prepared to accept, and it is signifying that this friendship will probably end because of it. That is what the tower's signifying in this. It's not the nasty. Yes, this is Sam's reading, Joanne, but it is linking to this movement, Sam. I know you've put there that there's a friendship already ended, but I get the impression there's another one coming up that could end, and it's to do with differing ideas. It's going to be them pulling in one direction, you pulling in the other. It's all movement. That's what those two sphinxes are representing. It's a part in other, because although they're pulling the chariot, they're actually, if you look at them, they're actually, one's pulling off to the left, one's pulling off to the right, and that normally signifies movement, but a divergence within the movement. So to me, I'm thinking it's a friend thing. It's definitely a friend thing, and it's gonna be a divergence of ideas, beliefs, that kind of thing, and it is going to be it's going to be a destructive thing. But I'm feeling that the person controlling the chariot is being signified as you. That you've got firmly hold of the rails here, and that if this friendship ends, it will be your decision, not theirs. But there is some conflict coming up regarding a friendship, Sam. Most definitely. And it's near future. I would say within the next 3 to 4 months is when it's coming up, or when it starts. But it is going to lead to a parting of the waves, because I always say probably the worst card you can have in a reading as final outcome is the tower. For me, it is always the worst card of the deck. But I do always say you cannot take a card standalone. You've got to see what surrounds it and what influences it. And because you've got a positive reading up to that point, it is a very, very weakening weakened form of the tower. So there's gonna be destruction of either a friendship or of a differing. If it's in its weakest form, it will just be a differing of an opinion that you will have to learn to live with. But you're making the decision. You're in control of it. So I hope that helps, Sam. That's that one.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I never like seeing the tower there ever.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was it had got death on the other end. Had they been side by side, I wouldn't have liked that reading. But the fact that
Yeah.
it's showing change from start, at the start and right at the end as well. But that tower was definitely a weakened version of the tower.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Right, up next we've got Mariam.
You can ask a specific question if you want, Mariam, and I'll do you a 4-card reading based on that question. Let's see if she wants to ask a question. Exactly, Joanne. It wasn't negative, and like I say, it may not even be the actual ending of a friendship, but it will definitely. Am I going to be able to bond with my schoolmates despite my strict parents? Okay. Hmm. Right, Joanne. Miriam won it. Sorry. Right,
Mariam, yeah.
Miriam. Because I've done this off a specific question, what the cards represent is slightly different. The first one represents the problem surrounding you, which is the Hierophant, which is the male version of the High Priestess, which again signifies secrecy. So to me, it is what it's saying in regards to your question is, I feel that you may be keeping things from your parents regarding this situation, and this is the basis of the problem, is the secrecy thing that's going on. Um, it does signify secrecy from a male aspect, though it's just mainly the secrecy term I feel with this question. Um, I can't tell you until I start picking up off the other cards whether it's a positive or negative thing. I get the feeling at the moment that the secrecy thing is the main obstacle at the moment. It's definitely the secret. Right, okay, Mariam. Yeah, this is secrecy. The secrecy surrounding this thing with your friends, um, leading on to the second card, which is what I say is problems immediately apparent, which are the ones that overlay the top of the root of the problem, which is the Chariot, which is again I feel that you feel at the moment you're being pulled in all directions by this. There's a loyalty to your mom and dad. There's a loyalty to your friends, and because it's linked to the hanged man, or the suspended man, how you want to call it. Okay, I ain't sure what the 11th grade is, so I don't know how old you are. What's 11th grade, Andy?
I'm just going to have a look now.
I do feel that right, 16. Okay,
Yeah.
I do feel that you don't feel in control of this. You're feeling like you're being pulled in all directions. This is a matter, Marion, where you're ultimately going to have to make the decision, because the best outcome, which is the final card, is the Wheel of Fortune, which signifies fate and luck. And basically, what this spread is telling me is this can go two ways. There's definitely a decision made, because The hangman, which is in the third position, which is ways to counter the problem, is the hangman, which shows suspension and being stuck in a rut. So you're feeling like you literally are feeling like you're stuck in the middle of this at the moment, but you've got to make a decision one way or the other. And I will be honest with you, Mariam. The two sphinxes represent, the one represents your parents, the other represents your friends. And what this thing is telling me is, if you choose the one, you're going to risk upsetting the other. There's going to be no easy answer to this situation. Um, Personally, I think the best thing you would be able to do is possibly talk to your parents first, and maybe see if you can come to some compromise with them. Because I'm being drawn to the black sphinx more so than the white one, and I think I always see the left hand side as the people closest to you, and the right hand side as the outer influence sort of thing. So, and it's the black one that I'm being drawn to. So the solution to this problem, and I know you probably ain't gonna want to hear this, Mariam, is gonna be in talking to your parents. I ain't saying tell them everything if it's gonna get you punished, but I do think that the solution to your problem does lie with your parents. Definitely lies with your parents. How much you want to tell them, I don't know, and I don't advocate lying to them. There's got to be some kind of honesty there with your parents. But I do feel that if you want to solve this problem over your friends, you may not think it, but the solution lies with your parents more so than your friends. Your friends will still be there. Your friends will still be there regardless. I can tell you that. But because the final outcome is the Wheel of Fortune, which is basically up or down, good or bad, there's no definitive answer there. Um, but what this spread is telling me is you've got to try and reach some kind of compromise with your parents. Yeah, you're in a very difficult situation here, Mariam. But I do honestly feel from this reading that the solution lies with your parents. Um, Maybe taking the courage to stand up to them a little bit more. And I ain't saying that I'm not saying to be defiant or anything with that, but I do believe it's time. This spread is saying it's time for you to show a little bit more independence, but you've got to show it them first. I ain't saying go out the house and be a rebel or anything like that. There's better ways you can show them that you're becoming more responsible and stuff like that. So what this reading is saying to me is this is all going to be down to you, but I do feel the solution to it does rest heavily with your parents more so than with your friends. And you will keep your friends, because there's no negative aspect in the final outcome. But or the best possible outcome, because it is literally the luck card, which is saying it's saying take a chance with your parents. Um, Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, Mariam, because the chariot does signify struggle of keeping things under control. But like I keep saying, I do believe this in this situation. The answer to your question lies with your parents, not with your friends. But I do believe you will be able to find a way to convince them to accept your friends. But it's gonna lie through you. You've got to prove. Yeah, exactly, Mags. If they're good friends, they'll help and wait for you. I do think that the way forward with this is proving to your parents that you are responsible, that you are growing up, but do it in an adult way. Don't do it in a defiant way. I think this solution is going to come through talking rather than action. And I hope that help you, Mariam.
Yeah, good luck with that, Mariam. I
Yeah,
think it's finding balance with your parents,
yeah,
isn't it?
most
You
definitely.
know, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Something to look at.
most definitely. Next
So
up
do
is
you?
Jacob
It's
Ross.
Jacob. Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to say, did you need to go off for a drink or out like that first?
Yeah, I could do with one actually.
Yeah.
So do you mind chatting for a second?
No, not at all.
That's okay then.
So yeah, Jacob, you'll be up next. Brett's just going to go and get a drink and
Roll a cigarette.
roll a cigarette and top his levels up.
Yeah. I don't function well when the nicotine and caffeine levels drop.
So again, they've all been relatively fantastic so
Yeah.
far. You know,
That
absolutely
was
brilliant.
that's a bit of a difficult one with Marion, but it was, it was emphasising that
Yeah,
the
definitely.
solution is via a parents, but
Yeah,
it's got to be done in a mature manner. It's no good turning into a rebel because that ain't gonna work.
that's it. I think with what she was saying, some sort of explanation to her parents,
Yeah,
she needs to have friends to build a social
yeah,
structure, and just
yeah,
going about it in the right way, isn't it?
yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's right. What Joanne's put there. It is all about compromise.
yeah,
But you've got to make your parents understand as well. You really have got to make your parents understand that that you are you are becoming an adult. You are your own person, but you've got to do it in a respectful manner, Mariam. Most definitely. And that's coming off the biggest rebel there is, because I'm not the best person when it comes to parental relationships. But that is what basically the cards were saying there.
right.
I'm always the first to recommend somebody be a rebel, but that ain't what the cards were saying there.
So, is there anybody in chat who would like a reading? If you'd like one, just ask away, and I'll put you on list. We've currently got three more people, which is Jacob next, then Vicky, and then Lizzie.
Okay. Jacob, Vicky, and Lizzie. Let me just have a quick gulp of coffee. Cold coffee.
Right. Cold coffee. Oh, don't like it. It's lovely.
It is, Mags. It is hard being 16 and wanting to fit in. Especially when you got really strict parents. Like I say, I'm the first. If the cards then had just said been a rebel, I'd have been honest and told her to be a rebel. But that's not what they were saying. I got off them cards straight away that the solution there was via the parents, as hard as it might be. But she has got to make the parents understand that she is developing a life of her own now, and she's got to stand her ground, but in a mature way. Not in the Kevin and Perry type of. Yeah, if you want to, Joanne.
Oh, do I have to put her name on list? Cheesy. Cheesy, what's it? Okay.
Right, who's next?
That'll be Jacob.
Well, that's two interesting ones to start with. Oh my god. Is this Jacob?
Yeah. Oh,
Right. Thank God it's next to that.
yeah.
It's not bad, Jacob, honestly. It's not bad. I know it's not in the best position, but it's not bad. Um, right. Interestingly enough, recent past is the Fool. The Fool, I don't know whether you know, is basically. No, it is good. It is good. Um, and I'll tell you why. Because it's linked to the world, it's showing positive destruction, not negative. And I know, Pete, that sounds a little odd, but that is showing positive destruction. There's a lot of change around you at the moment. Right, what it's saying, in the recent past, you have just started, or in the last 6 to 12 months, you've just started a new period of your life. You've started on a new journey. One that you probably weren't sure how was going to turn out at the time, but it is definitely new beginnings, new journeys. It does signify jumping in feet first is the way I normally describe it, without maybe thinking about the consequences. But in this respect, I do believe, because it is literally the first card of the tarot, the Fool. It doesn't mean you're a fool in this respect. It is literally signifying that you have embarked on a totally new period of your life. It's literally you're starting out on a new path with something. Linking into death tells me that this has again been a lot of change. There's been a lot of change, and this change is still ongoing at the moment, Jacob. It ain't changed that's happened. This new start, exactly, Mags. The, this journey that you've started in your recent past is only now causing a lot of change around you. Deaths of ideas again, deaths of situations, can even be the endings of friendships or relationships or situations, but the start of new ones. What a lot of people forget when they see the death card is it doesn't only signify deaths, it also signifies rebirth. And I know that sounds odd because the card's got death on it, but again, it's reinforcing new beginnings with the Fool. And that is why I'm saying that the Fool in this case is not showing that you're a fool who's going to die sudden, anytime soon. It is basically saying new beginnings, new starts with a lot of change. But these changes are still ongoing. The good news is, Jacob, is they've led on to the World, which, believe it or not, is the very last card in the Major Arcana of the tarot card. So you've got change, death, surrounded by the first and last cards of the Major Arcana. Now the World is a sign of completion, success, and getting everything you want. It's a sign of being settled. It's a sign of being grounded. It's a sign of extremely good fortune. It's a sign of contentment. So what it's saying to me is, this journey that you've recently started on and the one that is currently going on is really good. It's going to have very, very positive effects in your immediate future. Linking in with the Tower, like I say, I always consider the Tower the worst tarot card in the tarot deck, but because it's right next to the World, it's positive. I'm getting positive destruction, not negative. So the final outcome is that what this is saying to me is your life is going to be, bar this journey, is going to be totally turned upside down on its head, but in a positive way, not in a negative way. And it is massive destruction. What that card is saying is it's not going to be little changes in your life. It is literally going to be a total reversal of your life flipped on its head for a more positive outlook. So I don't know whether you've been experiencing, maybe a bad period in your life recently, and that was what's triggered the Fool and the new journey and the changes around you now. But because it's linking up to the World and the Tower, what that is saying to me is it's going to be massive destruction on what you know now, but in a positive way. Because, if I get the Tower, I always say the one card I always like to see right next to the Tower is the World or the Star, but preferably the World. And the one I don't like seeing right next to it is Death, which you haven't got. You've got the World in between them. So basically what that is saying, Jacob, is keep on with what you're doing. Keep on with this new thing. It is going to be disruptive at the moment because death is in your present, which is all these changes are still ongoing. They are going to lead to personal contentment, success, and a general good feeling. But rather than being a final outcome, I think that is the Tower is being a descriptive card saying that it is a total destruction from where you were to where you'll eventually be. It's a total reversal of fortune. Basically, that is actually a very good reading, even though my familiar is watching. I'll take it. Mag's cat's watching. It is saying it is going to be a total reversal, and what you're aiming for, Jacob, is what you're going to get, because that world is in the perfect position there. It is definitely all positive, most definitely all positive. I'd be happy getting that reading myself. I know when people see death, they straight away panic because they presume it's probably the worst card of them all. but it's not. It very rarely signifies a physical death. When surrounded by certain other cards, it can signify that, but although you've got one of the cards in the spread, it's separated by the success card, which is the world. So basically, it's a very good outlook, Jacob. It's not a negative one at all, believe me. And it's nice that the Fool started in your past, because that started as new beginnings. And that is basically saying that in your recent past, whatever journey in life you've recently decided to embark on, and that you're currently still in the process of doing, in the near future is going to come to fruition. But it is going to be massive changes in your life. All that you've known beforehand is going to be, it's going to be broken down and gone, and you're going to have a totally new outlook on life, and a very positive one. So that helps you. I'm so glad most of these have been mega positive tonight. They were all negative last week.
Yeah, definitely.
You're welcome, Jacob. I like advisory ones. Or confirmation ones. Next up is Vicky Vicky.
Vicky.
Is she double Vicky? Right. We're gonna mix it up a bit, I think. Give me a second. This is gonna be interesting, because I don't normally do this. Well, not for tiny little regions anyway. Just bear with me a sec, folks. I'm just shuffling. Sorry.
We could hear you doing something.
I'm shuffling the cards, Andy. Okay. We're going to do something slightly different here.
Oh, okay. We're intrigued.
I could do with more light for this. Right, we're using the full deck. Ooh, the Page of Swords. Right, who are we doing, Vicky?
Yeah.
Right, Vicky. The first card you've got is the Six of Cups. Now, cups signify the emotions. I'm getting the feeling off this card at the moment that there's been some kind of emotional situation going on recently between parent and child that's been important to you in your recent past. Now, I ain't saying it's you and your child, but there's some kind of a very much an emotional situation been going on recently regarding either a parent and child, or between somebody that considers somebody either a mother figure and them. It's definitely I'm definitely getting a female reading off it. More so mother and daughter than daughter and father or daughter and brother. Right, okay. But it's definitely a maternal thing. So it's you and your son. Okay, right. It's been very important to you in your recent past, and there's some kind of emotion, strong emotion surrounding it. Very interestingly, being that you've said your son, leading on to the page of swords. Hi, Corinne. The pages of. Okay, Jamie. See you later. The pages of the four suits always indicate young people. Now, just because it's a page, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a young, a young man. But in this respect, it probably does refer to your son, right? Now, being that it's swords, swords are the suit that represent the mind and the intellect. So I am saying that this card in your future now, what's going on in your future now, is signified by this page of swords. So I think whatever the problem has been with you and your son, or if it has been a problem, it's been emotional anyway. There's emotion around it. This is now moving on to your son yourself, and it's saying that even now, this thing to do with your son is still ongoing. But it signifies the mind. Um, it's saying that this child, and I don't know how old he is. You'll consider him a child. He's very intelligent, very bright kid. He's a kid who's more of the mind than of the art. Put it that way. Um, there's some influence with him there again because it's surrounded by the cups, and there's a coming back to right. There's a coming back together linked with him, which is going into the future. Which you've got the two of cups in your immediate future. So it's a very funny reading I'm getting off this, because I would say it's it's coming across as more of a distancing, but then a coming back together, and it's surrounding this lad, and this lad is very very bright, and I get the impression that the fact that it's his head and it's his intelligence that has been causing the problem. I don't know whether he's a bit of a smart aleck or something like that, but this is what the problem's been surrounding him. It's been something to do with the mind more so than the body or the spirit, because swords always signifies the mind. But because it's moving again into the Two of Cups, which is a very good card, right? Okay, yeah. But what it's saying is that situation coming up, Vicky, the Two of Cups, it always signifies an emotional joining. So whatever's going on with him at the moment, you are going to pull closer back together. Okay, um, and because it leads on to the Five of Staves, which signifies the body and the material, and because it's considered a middle card, it shows balance. Yeah, yeah, he's a very smart lad because he's signified by the Page of Swords. Emotional kids are always, kids who tend to be quite emotional are ruled by the cups, Page of Cups, obviously. A child who comes up as the Page of Staves or Battens, whatever you want to call them, tend to be more physical kids, and the ones who come up with the Pentacles tend to be more business-like and money-minded, shall we say? But this one always, the Page of Swords, because it's the mind and intelligence, always always signifies the sharp kids, and there's been some kind of pulling apart between you at the moment, but it's saying there's going to be a coming back together, and because it's with the Five of Staves, which is the body and the physical form of things. It's a middle card, so it's saying there's going to be some kind of balance, but it's going to be a coming together that you've got to go do between you. It's not going to come from one side or the other. There's got to be a meeting in the middle, but there is going to be this meeting in the middle. Um, Whatever it is that this situation is at the moment, it's coming to an end now, because he's shown in the present, but your future is showing this conjoining again. So whatever the issue is between you, it's bringing you together, and it's going to bring you closer than you've ever been, because it's being reinforced by the material 5 of staves, which is, like I say, is the middle card. And if you look at the picture and the thing, it's more, it's not of a battle. It's like they're raising the staves in celebration. So it's more of it's a very positive card, the 5 of staves. So what this overall reading is saying is that the problem surrounding your son, and I ain't saying it's a major problem. It may just be, typical 15-year-old acting up and thinking he's a smart arse, but he has been causing problems. But it is coming to an end now, Vicky. It really is. There is going to be this bringing back together, but it's going to be, there's got to be the compromise on both sides. You can't expect him to make all the changes. What it is saying is you've got to meet him in the middle. But when you meet him in the middle, everything's going to be sorted out and everything will work out fine for you. And I hope that helps. Okay, Vicky, you're welcome.
Interesting doing the other cards there, Brett.
See, the thing is, what I always look for, the first thing I look for when I do the full deck, and I prefer to use the full deck in a big reading, but I thought I'd try it on the smaller card. You're welcome, Vicky. Is if there's like more of one suit than another, that normally signifies the overall situation.
Yeah.
So if, say, if there's like there was 2 cups, it was more an emotional thing. It was more of an emotional thing rather than a physical or a money matter or, a mind thing.
Very good.
Right.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Lizzie.
Just Lizzie, not Lizzie.
No, just Lizzie.
Oh, slide him across a bit. I need to watch this screen a bit more so I can bloody see what I'm doing. See, now this is interesting. Right, Lizzie. This is interesting. I don't know if this is referring to you, but there in your past, you've got the 7 of. It's called wands on this, but I prefer to call them the staves or the batons. And this is a physical card. And to me, I'm getting off that because he's surrounded. He seems to be he's being held back by them, and they're relating to the body. I'm getting the impression that this is more of an health issue. There's some kind of health issue now. I don't know whether it's you or it's somebody close to you, but there's been an health issue recently that's been really important to in your close past. And whoever it is, it's been a bit of a battle for them. I don't know the severity of what it is. I'm getting the impression it was probably quite severe, but and again, you're starting and finishing with the ones. This health issue is really interesting because it's having an impact, but it was in the past, and it's recent past. But there's been some kind of struggle to do with the body, which straight away to me signifies an health issue. But one that can be overcome. Because it's linked into the star in your present, and this is really important whenever you do a reading with a full deck, whenever you get a major arcana drop within a reading of a full deck, it signifies a really important section of the reading. And this is your present now, which is the star. And again, the star is hopes, dreams, and wishes. So because she's linking to the star from this health issue, I'm getting the impression that at the moment these things are they're either on the up or they've already improved to the point where they're better. Um, Again, I get a feeling around you at the moment that there's some kind of dissatisfaction. Now, as to what it is, I couldn't tell. It's a personal thing you ain't happy with. That's what I'm getting. There's something here that you ain't quite happy with, and because it's moving on to the Seven of Pentacles, it may link to money. I don't know whether you're hoping to come into some money, or you're hoping you'd like more money, but who wouldn't? But because you've got one of the major arcana cards there, it's telling me that at the moment money is an issue, or there's some connection with money in your present that you're either worried about, or that you're about to come into that you may not currently know about. It could be well, if you ain't rich, Lizzie, it could be more of a fact that you're worried about balancing the finances. But there's definitely a link to money there. And if you look at that picture, it really does signify the fact that money don't grow on trees, even though it's showing money growing on the trees, because you've got them all on the tree and one at your foot. So I should say there's some kind of concern there regarding money, but it's finally linking into the Page of Wands, which is one of the higher cards of the body, of the physical, so it's actually a very good card. So I would actually say that there's going to be an improvement in finances coming up here, and it's going to be within the next 6 months. And something you're hoping for, or something you desperately want right now, which links through money, is going to come to fruition in the final outcome. I wish someone would tell my kids it didn't grow on trees. If you look, the page is actually facing forward with his staff quite defiant, and that tells me that it's going forward. It's positive. It's a very positive thing. It's a funny place to have a page drop, to be honest with you, in final outcome, because it signifies youth, material youth. So to me, that's saying that it's actually an improvement in finances. Definitely an improvement in finances. But this financial improvement, Lizzie, is definitely within the next 6 months, and it is definitely connected to something you desperately hope or want for, are wishing for right now. So whatever it is, and I don't know you, so but whatever it is that you're desperately wishing for at the moment is going to be solved through money, and money that you're going to get, and it's going to have a very successful outcome. Whatever it is, it's going to have a positive outcome. It's going to set you on a new phase of your life anyway. So I hope that helps. That's okay, as long as you understand what it is, Lizzie. But there you go. But I hope that helps. But it's definitely a financial situation connected to something you're desperately hoping or wanting right now. You're welcome, Lizzie. Thank you very much. There you go, Andy.
Very good. Let's hope she gets lots and lots and lots of money.
Mags, can you do me a favour and tell Claire I'm still reading at the moment, so I ain't on Facebook chatting, please? Cheers, Mags.
Right, up next we've got the Mrs. Cheesy What's It herself, Joanne B.
Joanne B. Yeah, I wish I was getting a reading where... Ooh. Well, that's an odd card.
That first card is obviously Joanne getting that good whipping with birch sticks.
Right, Joanne. I'm reading this as a combined set, and if you look, you have actually got 3 pentacle cards there, which are material wealth. I'll tell you what I'm getting off this reading right now is something to do with a loan. Something to do, and I'm not necessarily saying you have a loan. I've got a funny feeling it may be somebody maybe wanting money off you. What is really funny is that first card, which is the ones. Is it the 7? Yeah, it's the 7. Is it 7? No, the 8. Sorry, it's the 8 of wands. Um, Physical. See, because that's the material. That's the material suit. The body and the physical. And then it's linked with three pentacle cards. That tells me that this is to do. This is a very materialistic reading, Joanne. And it's concerning money in a big way, literally in a big way. I do honestly think the Queen of Wands represents you in your future, and it's telling you to be wary of, to guard your money, basically. The one that precedes it, which is the 6 of Pentacles, that to me, that is what's screaming loan at me. That card is screaming loan or a monetary situation. Somebody is going to come to you, and it's this is in your present as well, Joe. There's a monetary situation going to crop up, but yeah, ask Lizzie is in for a windfall. But it's very like I was just saying, Joanne. When a suit is particularly strong in a reading, it always says that is the overall aspect of what's important, and the pentacles always signify business and money. So there's business and cash here. The overall outcome, which is the 9 of Pentacles, shows you in a favourable position at the end of it. But I get and the one before it signifies you as a warning to guard your money. But the second card is definitely the one that is coming across to me as somebody's gonna. And I ain't saying it's a massive amount. I don't think I ain't saying somebody's gonna come to you begging thousands, but somebody is gonna come to you, and it's gonna be for something very materialistic. There's gonna be a very materialistic reason for this, for them wanting money off you, and I do believe it's going to be a loan. I ain't saying you owe somebody money. I'm getting the impression it's them hoping you're going to provide them with money. But what this reading's saying to me is, don't do it. Because the last 2 cards, I'm telling, the third card is definitely screaming, watch your money, and the last card is definitely showing success with money. So to me, that is saying guard the cash. Guard your cash. But it's that second card that's the worrying one, and that's the one that's sitting in your present. So this is going to be within the next few months. But there's definitely Joanne. It could be it could signify an unexpected bill. But the way that person is like, it's the person that's coming out on the card to me, and he's like reaching out, and I'll get the impression it may not be a single person, it could be a couple or a family, is what I'm getting. So I don't know whether somebody from within the family is going to come to you for money, but somebody is going to ask you for a favour of a financial basis. And what this spread is warning you is be very, very careful regarding it. Because it's saying, consider your own needs before you hand this cash over. Because, there is a favourable outcome at the end with the 9 of Pentacles. You know, so it ain't a bad reading, but it is definitely, this is definitely an overall warning of guard your money, watch your money, because something unexpected financially is gonna come very soon. Oh, that helps, Joe.
Rather interesting.
Mm.
So, Joanne, you know that 10 grand I asked to lend? Will not bother. You'll keep it. Will not bother.
It could signify a bill, Andy, but I'll get the impression it's coming to me as loan,
Yeah.
and not Joanne taking a loan. It's somebody coming to Joanne for
Mhm.
money. Somebody wants the dosh.
Well, I do.
Don't we all? Right, who's next?
Right, next up is Mishiana.
Who?
Mishiana.
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 How many we got left?
Two?
Well, that's okay then, because we've been going for nearly an hour and 40 now, so...
Okay. We'll cap it off at these last two then.
Okay, then we can just have a general chat after.
Yeah.
But that's the best idea, Joanne, give them Monopoly money. But there's definitely an unexpected financial situation cropping up there, Joanne, because that was a lot of bloody... That was a lot of bloody pentacles to have in one reading.
It was. What were the three on trot?
Three out
Yeah.
of the four. Oh, here's another one. Oh, it's her again. Oh, another one where the present is extremely important. Right, Queen of Pentacles. Again, this is a financial card. But I'm not getting the money situation off this. What I'm actually getting off this is more melancholy or sadness. There's been a recent sadness or mild depression or something like that is what's coming off this card at the moment. Maybe connected to a financial situation, but for some reason off this card right now I am getting sadness. You know, art sick, that kind of thing. Um, Possibly connected to money, but I couldn't be 100% certain on that. But I'm definitely getting some kind of sadness in relation to this card, and this is recent past. Is it Mishanu? Where's the name?
Mishiana. I think.
Mishiana.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
definitely getting some kind of sadness or regret. There's regret or sadness has been very important in the recent past, most definitely. Linking in with the Emperor, it's saying that whatever this sadness is, it's coming into it's coming to the present, and it's surrounding a male figure. Um, Father, lover, brother, son is what I'm getting. Definitely a very strong male personality, and this regret or this sadness is linked to this male person. Um, Very odd vibes off these cards. Um, I don't know. The sadness linked round a male, and it is brother, father, uncle, lover, son. Definitely male. Definitely male. Um, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's coming into the present, and this person is going to be very significant to you right now, or something they do is going to be very significant to you now. Leading into your immediate future, again, we've got the seven of, they call them wands, but I like to call them staves. Is this conflict thing, and it's a physical battle. It's not a mental battle. This is more of a physical battle. Um, oh God. Ooh, I'll be honest, Masana, I'm getting a lot of sadness off this reading. Really, a lot of sadness off this reading. A lot of regret. A lot of, even though there's no cup cards in it, there's a lot of negative emotion coming off this. And it's surrounding this male figure. It's all surrounding this male figure, and it's saying, leading up to your final outcome, it's a turning your back card, or it's regret. It starts with regret and it ends with regret. And I ain't saying it's. I know this sounds a negative reading, but I think it's unavoidable type of negativity, and it's all physical. It's all physical, definitely all physical. But it's all this regret around a male figure. I don't know whether it's a failed relationship. I don't know whether it's an ill relative. But it's causing a lot of sadness, and it's going to cause a lot of sadness. But there is going to be an ending to it. But right at the end, I'm getting a feeling of loneliness. But I ain't saying that loneliness is for you. There's just a feeling with that last card of regret and loneliness, but I ain't 100% certain that it's you that it's saying is going to be lonely. I've got a funny feeling it's linking back to this male figure, and I know this is coming across as very obscure reading, but that is what I'm getting. It's very funny vibes off this reading, very funny vibes. But the overall thing of it is it's regret. The sadness and regret right the way through these 4 cards. Well, there wouldn't be if this was your reading, Laura. This to me is coming across as an ending round a male, and there's going to be a lot of upset and regret around it. So I'm sorry about that, Mazhara, but that's the best I can do. All I can say is that, you know, it's going to end with a loneliness for somebody, but I don't necessarily think it's a loneliness for you. But it's definitely linked to that male. Definitely linked to that male, and it's somebody you know now. And it's somebody who's very, very prominent in your circle of life right now. Now, Laura. So, sorry about that. But that's what I'm getting. Oh God, Andy, I really like that one.
Or a bit deep, that one.
Mm-hmm.
But Miss Yana didn't say anything through reading, so she might be aware, but she, a bit of an opportunity to come back and have a look at that. So yeah, final reading at night is Laura.
Right, Laura. Right, I want to end this on a positive one. Oh, that has really dragged me down, that one.
I can tell.
And I don't get the impression it was her. It was sadness round this bloke.
All right.
Oh, right, Laura. Okay, it's one of them readings, is it? Let's have a look, see then. Oh God, I hate these. Oh. Do you want the quick answer, Laura? Most definitely. Right. What it's saying in your past is you have been a little bit. Oh, shall I be tactful here? You've had a tendency. You've had a tendency in past relationships to overthink them a little bit and trap yourself. Maybe a little bit overly critical with partners and things like that. Um, and to be honest with you, I'm getting the impression that maybe a relationship in the past have maybe been more your fault than theirs. Putting it nicely. Um, you've overthought things a little bit too much sometimes, or you've maybe thought things are there that were not. You've been a prisoner to your own mind, is the best way of putting it. And I ain't saying this in a negative way. I'm actually finding it quite amusing. Uh, but you know, I am, I am getting the impression that you've been your own worst enemy in the past, as far as relationships are concerned. I'll leave it at that because that's a nice, cheerful way of saying it. You've definitely been your own worst enemy in the past. Right, in the present again, let's level these out, is the Eight of Staves. And again, this is the body. This is the body, and it's quite an high one. Um, because you've got the two wands, this is all about the physical. And I think this is going to be the start of something coming quite soon, and this is going to be quite a physical relationship. I've got to be careful what I say here. This is going to be this relationship is going to start off, and it's going to be totally new experience for you, where you've tended to judge relationships in the past on a mental level. This one is going to be a very physical one. Is that a nice way of putting it, Andy?
Yeah.
This relationship is going to start off on a very, very physical level. So what it's saying to me is that it may not necessarily start off as a relationship. It could branch off from a friendship. It could actually be someone you know now, and maybe have designs on. But it's yeah, basically, Mags, it's a let's get it on type thing. It's definitely a physical thing. It's not going to be a mental one. It's not going to be a thought out one. It's going to be total biology. This one, not mental, most definitely. And because it leads on to the Queen of Wands, which to me, right, okay. Um,
You said you wanted a positive one.
this relationship, Laura, is going to be raunchy, and I mean raunchy. The Queen of Wands is like the boosted. It's like the boosted lovers card, where love, the lovers card um, is all encompassing love. The Queen of Wands always represents the physical love in a big way. This is most definitely gonna be the most raunchiest relationship you've ever been in, and it's gonna bring massive changes to your life. This is a really, really good. Well, I weren't gonna say that, Mama, but that was what I was getting off the Queen of Wands. Um, and it's gonna bring an whole new outlook for you on the relationships, and where you like I say, where you have actually been your own worst enemy in the past by overthinking your relationships. This one that's coming, and it's coming soon. It's definitely coming soon. Is basically more of a it's going to be based more off the physical than the mental, and it's going to be good for you. It really is going to be good for you, Laura, and it's going to be you're going to get very inventive in it. I'll just put it that way, and you're going to discover a lot of new things, and it's going to bring a total turnaround in your outcome of how you're looking at relationships and how you deal with relationships. You're going to find the balance there, but you're going to learn to maybe tone down the mental a bit and go more towards the physical. But I get the feeling, Laura, it's somebody you already know. I honestly get the feeling it is somebody you already know, or it is somebody you are going to meet very, 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 very soon. Thinking, what? Let's get physical. But yeah, that is a, for the question you asked, Laura. That is a really good spread. And to get the Queen of Wands, she is like everything female to do with the body. Everything. She's. I always call her the dominatrix card. Not 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 necessarily meaning you are going to be a dominatrix, but it's that kind of level of things. But the fact you got two of the wands, which is two of the physical, um, and this is definitely going to be a physical relationship, and it's going to be a life changer, most definitely.
In all honesty, Laura, if this works out, write a book and you're going to be a better seller than 50 Shades of Grey.
I'm so glad that came out after the one before. That one cheered me up.
Yeah,
But
you were a good one, Matt.
it was that first card that was so funny, because the minute I saw it, I thought she's her own worst enemy when it comes to relationships, and it's a mental thing, overthinking relationships, most definitely. And then when the next two come out, I'm like, oh yes, thank you.
Excellent.
And death is, and because death is in your final outcome, and it's a major arcana, that is saying it's majorly significant, and that is basically a death of all your old ideas and rebirth of So what it's telling me, Laura, is that it's going to be a complete life changer for you. This next relationship is going to be a complete life changer, and it's going to be nothing like you've experienced before. So I hope that helps, Laura. Right, there we go. I'm going to call an end to the readings now, because we've been going nearly 2 hours on the readings, and we can just have a general chat. So would you like to tell everybody how we went with our one thing yesterday, Andy?
Oh, it was brilliant, weren't it?
Mm-hmm.
And even though halfway through we remembered to do some filming or a live stream, we still forgot
Yeah, I
when we
know.
went back in room.
I know. I know. I said I'll do it with the camera, and then when we went back in, totally forgot.
I think we were all just that enthralled in us wood massacring that we got.
Well, I was a bit on edge whether Jace was going to cut himself or anything, and I think that was in the back of my mind. I was more
I
worried
was
about
same.
what he was going to do.
I was same, especially after I saw Ellen trying to file down wood with wrong side at knife.
Yeah.
I
You're
didn't get
welcome,
much
Sam.
carving done for watching.
And then Jace admitted he'd nearly filed his nail off with the
It
Dremel.
did, yeah. So yeah, we had all in all, it was a fantastic day. It was really relaxed, really nice. Some lovely ones being made.
There's the one I did. I don't know if you can see it very clearly on this, but hang on, I'll start from that end. It's actually got my bird skull and my crystal on the end, but I did cheat and actually start it in advance, because I did a lot of carving on that. But yeah, that was my wand. Just shove it up there out the way. But yeah, we had a great time, and then we visited a very special place to consecrate and activate them. And
Yep.
because we got people there who'd got varying pagan beliefs, we all did it our own way. And it was really enjoyable. I did find it funny that Andy was blowing water vapour over people's hands. Where
It was very atmospheric though.
honestly, it couldn't have found the more perfect venue to do that. Really couldn't.
And by all accounts, we had a little visitor as well.
Oh yes, we did.
We did.
The little peeper behind the tree.
Yeah, and I sort of got. With certain ones, I get like an head squeezing feeling. I've been talking about it for a while, and I got it just as you said. I think I've just seen somebody.
Well, whatever it
Yeah.
was, it weren't miniature thing. It was about I'd say between 18 inches and 2 foot tall, Andy.
Yeah, yeah,
And it shot back behind the tree. As I turned around and looked, all I saw was the black shadow dart back
yeah,
behind that big conifer. But it was actually looking round the tree, and as I turned and looked at it, it was only a black shadow.
yeah.
Or, because it was dark, and it back behind the tree, but I could
I
see roughly how high it was. And it was about 18 inches to 2 foot. It weren't tall, but it weren't little.
Yeah, I'll show you a photograph of the little black shape I've got down there before. Popping its head out at shrubbery.
Oh, I didn't know
Brilliant.
you had.
Yeah, I've got a photograph.
Oh, let's have a look then. Yeah, Mags, it was amazing, and there was we actually consecrated the wands. It's basically like a druid altar,
Yeah,
and it's actually aligned perfectly to the four elements. Amazing place it was. If I knew we could move that to the stone circle, or move the stone circle to that, it would be the perfect location.
oh yeah,
Don't you think?
oh yeah. Well, I am trying to convince landowner to put a stone circle in there that we
Yeah,
can all activate and
yeah,
work privately from it. I think it'd be fantastic.
yep. But it's an amazing area. So, has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask? Perfectly happy to answer anything. Or Andy, while he's here,
Hmm.
while we've got him. See them all compulsive gambling again. Has Becky been compulsive gambling? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've been
she's doing
watching
it.
the
She's
chat.
yeah, she's doing it. Gambling thousands at a time.
But yeah, and we did meet some interesting people there yesterday, and we had a new person turn up. It was nice to meet Ash.
Yeah, yeah, he seems like a really nice lad, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does actually. And he
Yeah.
sounds like he's quite local to you. He's from Wombwell, isn't
Well, yeah.
he? Which is
He had
quite
a little
close.
tumble though, bless him, didn't he?
Well, that's like an initiation, isn't it? Because we were as soon as I heard somebody go over, I turned around expecting it either to be Jace or Becky, and then when it was Ash, I can't believe that. I wonder if that was somebody's little way of saying hello.
Mm. You never know, do you?
No, but we trooped across a very muddy field, but it was fun.
It was fun.
And it don't help when you turn up in sandals to do that.
Yeah, when I looked at everybody's footwear and I saw it slandals and I just went,
Mm.
okay.
Jackie Matthews says, "Where you from, Andy?"
I am from Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
Right. Lee Guy says, "Do the Fae believe in aliens?" Oh, that's a good one. Because I know the answer to this.
They do, yes. They very much do.
So what have they actually told you about aliens, Andy?
I'm just trying to think back to me spirit box that we did on them. Because it were obviously an alien themed topic. It were all on topic, all questions. And they kind of like said that they come from near space, which, could mean a lot of things. It's a loose term by all accounts. I I was asking stuff about like, because I've got that, is it Communion book written by Whitley?
I ain't sure.
Yeah, it's
Same
a
one I've
really
heard of, to be honest with you.
is it not really
No.
famous story about an author that got abducted in the States. A lot of his family experienced what were going on, and friends at family that because they used to go and like stay in a cabin in woods and stuff.
Yeah.
And it started getting taken, and obviously he wrote a book about it and everything, and they're getting messages at future and stuff at end. But there's a film about it. Christopher Walken plays main guy Whitley.
I'll have to look it up. I've got to be honest, this one I've never heard of, Andy.
Really, it's a great. I
No.
mean, it's a low budget film, but it's still a good story. It's still good to watch. But I got that book on background.
Yeah.
And I pointed it out and I says, "Can you tell me name a guy that apparently got?" And it said his name on the box, Whitley.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
See, but that term itself, near space, is very interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Because do they mean Near as in terms of, light years, or
Hmm.
do they mean near as in terms of near dimension?
Near dimension space, yeah. Because that's the first thing I said to Becky. I said, "There's space between me and you now." You know what I mean? There's space
Hmm.
between everything. So it is an interesting, it'll be something I'll probably look at further down the line. When we do another sort of topics day with them.
Was it called Communion?
Communion, yeah,
Yeah, Norm67 says they love it. Love the
yeah,
book.
it's fantastic.
But I've got to be honest, it's one I've never heard of. I'm going to have to look that up.
It gets a little bit shadowed under Fire in the Sky, tale of that one with Travis.
Yeah,
It gets a little bit shadowed under him, but it's a fantastic story.
yeah. I'll have to look that up. That's one I
Yeah,
want to read now.
all right, cool.
Because it's honestly, that's one I've never heard of.
Right.
But what's it just said? They love it. Norm67.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I managed to snag my first edition book off eBay for a tenner.
I'm gonna have to have a look. Selena, with a mine of info on here because we have people from so many different viewpoints of the paranormal. We get all sorts of info coming in. And Andy is totally fae based. I am part spirit, part fae. Well, part pagan, Wicca, part fae at the moment. But balance is shifting at the moment. Mags doesn't believe one iota in aliens or visiting us or orbs. So you'll get all sorts of different opinions on here. And it's like I always say, nobody knows 100% anything. It's basically our own beliefs. You know, nobody on here can say, yeah, what I'm telling you is 100% right. We can just report what we've been told by various different entities. Correct,
That's it.
Andy?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can show you lots of stuff that we've collected up over years,
Yep.
and we've made your own mind up if it's what they're saying or not, isn't it? Really?
Joanne always comes up with the funniest questions.
Yeah, she does.
Which of the Fae is the jolliest?
The jolliest. Oh.
It's got to be the red cap,
Oh
Joanne.
yeah. Oh yeah. Go out looking for one,
Yeah,
Joanne.
they're always happy to slit your throat.
Take some cheesy puffs for him with offerings. um, personal experience, I would say, for me, it's been gnomes and other people's brownies.
Other people's brownies,
Yeah, because you're allowed to interact properly with other people's, but not.
not your own.
You don't really try and talk to your own because I like to be left alone. You know.
So why is it you think that they'll interact with outsiders, but not with the actual person they live with? Do you think they want to keep that familiarity separate?
Yeah, I mean they'll interact a little bit, like they'll steal an object from you and
Yeah.
play around, and I've had it come over a spirit box a few times. But and you'll catch a glimpse now and again if you're able.
Hmm.
But it's I don't know. They don't tend to want to talk to you if they live in your house. Not unless there's an important factor like they wanted food or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll let you know that way. But in general, just sitting down with box and having a chit chat, they'll tend not to do it. But if I go to somebody else's house, I'll get them chatting. For ages.
Do you think they ever fight? Do you think
Oh yeah.
brownie? Do you know if one brownie will happily push another one out of an house and move in
Oh
themselves?
yeah. If so be they want that, yeah, they'll dominate each other definitely.
All right, that could be interesting.
Yeah. Because
Because what's been interesting since you've told me to do what to do,
Mhm.
there's been no activity in my kitchen at all. We still get it upstairs, obviously, but
Yeah. I think that's something different though, isn't it?
yeah, I've always said there were two different things.
Yeah.
But the activity in the kitchen, I've had nothing. Jason ain't had no drawers or anything opened on him for weeks now.
Well, that's a sign of happiness that he's content.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, yeah, it's the TV stand, Lee. It's where I just flip it over and do my cards on it because it's nice and dark and the cards show up nice on it. Joanne says, Andy, do you think there is any truth in the elves and the shoemaker tale?
Um, well, this is an odd one because it contradicts what we know about fae, in particular elves. There's like three different mashings of three different races of fae going on with that story. You've got your leprechauns,
Can I just interrupt a sec, Andy?
of course.
I watched a video the other day where they said it was more liable to be an hobgoblin fixing your shoes than an elf.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, maybe so.
It was an odd video, but they claimed it was the hobgoblins that would be more liable to fix your shoes. But
Yeah, yeah,
if you gave them anything, they'd take offence and bugger off.
yeah, yeah. Well, this is like kind of line I was going down because, like I say, leprechauns were known for making shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, brownies and hobgoblins take offence if they're given an offer indirectly,
Mm-hmm.
and then, well, elves wouldn't do that. So, what they call them?
It's a bit beneath an elf, innit, to fix your shoes.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think the story's got some mashups from other things what they've like clubbed all together because you'll find that with gnomes as well. Like in other countries, they'll call a brownie a gnome. You know.
Right, Mag said she did a session the other day, and I was just hang on, let me sit straight, I can't read it. And I was just asking for spirits, and I kept getting fog, fog, fog. That's what the brownie called himself. I didn't ask for Faye at all.
Yeah, interesting.
And then she put, I read an article about hobgoblins that said, yeah, it was a video I watched the other day, Mags. It come up on my recommended viewing, and it said that hobgoblins would more liable to fix your shoes, but the second you reward them in any way, shape, or form, they would take offence and bugger off.
Yeah, yeah. They are very similar to brownies in that respect, but they're a lot rarer.
Mm-hmm. Because the other thing they said was that Dobby the house elf
Hmm.
from J.K. Rowling, because apparently obviously she took a lot of
Yeah,
inspiration from folklore and stuff.
yeah,
They were saying that Dobby the house elf was actually more accurately closer to an hobgoblin than it was an elf.
yeah, yeah. Because brownies are notoriously airy as well, and obviously, I think she'd done that as well. Like clubbed a few together for the
Yeah.
look of it
Yeah.
and the name. 'Cause yeah, because a Dobby is actually English. English. What am I saying? It's Yorkshire variant of a brownie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's because I've had it a few times. I've at Box Dobby. It's not its name, but it's its class.
Here's another
Whereas,
one. Go on, Andy. Sorry, carry on.
yeah, I was going to say, whereas Welsh one's really difficult to pronounce. It's like Bawaka or something like
Oh, God, no. You have to speak Welsh with a mouth full of phlegm anyway to pronounce it right.
that.
Oh, they were all Welsh on my mum's side, and from what my mum told me of my great grandmother, because obviously I never met her,
Yeah,
she could speak Welsh, my great grandmother, and my mum said, she was when she started, you couldn't pronounce half of what I said.
I,
Right.
first time I went though, Brett Ray, our howling. We're outside this co-op, right? And I looked up at the sign, and it legit said in like Welsh, "Property into your shop." Our howling.
Right, Joanne again
Yeah,
wants to know, what is Becky's favourite fae?
Becky, what is your favourite fair? I think I could answer this without her even speaking. And she's looking at me now, grinning at me. Go on, Bex. You are? Are you typing it in? She says she's typing it in.
Oh, you're going to get a written answer? You're
She's getting it
privileged.
written on. Yeah.
how they have accents. Ooh, could you just imagine a Brummy brownie?
Can you imagine?
Elves. Becky
Yeah,
loves the elves.
yeah.
Oh,
I knew that.
it likes to go right to the top of the hierarchy then.
Yeah. It's because she's got the semi-pointed ears.
Is she getting your dirty looks now?
Yeah, well, she was sticking two fingers up at me.
Oh, right. Here you go. Mag says, what is the rarest form of fae? Well, that's an interesting one.
Rarest that I know um, would probably be. Right, we'll go on to more common ones first. So I'm going to go back to Hobgoblin there.
Hmm.
But the sort of uncommon,
So
or
these are
what?
the most common of the uncommon.
Yeah.
Right.
So most common Hobgoblin, uncommon. I'm going to go down way at Banshee.
The Irish Banshee. Actually,
Mm.
I was reading the other day that Banshee didn't actually originate in Ireland. It was Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go back a little bit further, they're not locked to just Ireland,
Yeah.
which a lot of people think they are, and they're not. Bit like Leprechaun myth.
Yeah.
It's just an Irish thing, and they're really not.
Yeah, because I was surprised when I read it that, although people always, associate banshees with Ireland, they actually go further back to Scotland. They
Yeah,
originated in Scotland.
and apparently they were prophecy bringers to start with before they turned
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they down on, depending on the area, some people view them as positive and other people view them as negative, and
yeah,
foretellers of death. But other areas view them as bringers of good news.
yeah.
All right, Stephen, I will do. No problem. I'll contact you on Twitter. Max says France have a similar thing to the banshee. It's maybe a Celt thing. Yeah. Well, in Ireland, it's actually because it's spelt strange in it. It looks like it's actually spelled Siddy, but it's
Yeah,
pronounced she in it,
yeah,
and it's Ben She in it.
yeah,
If you actually translate it straight from the Irish, it's actually Banshee, not Banshee.
yeah.
Yeah, the Irish are very superstitious, Chris. Sam says, I used to think my neighbour was a banshee with all the screaming she used to do, lol.
I think I've got one next door as well.
Oh, God. I used to when I lived in Sheffield. Luckily, they're quieter here. Yeah, but it's amazing if you look across different countries and go right back in their folklore and mythology, even before these countries had any contact, how similar
Yeah.
these people have with different types of fae and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They may call them different things, but they have exactly the same viewpoint on them and
Yeah.
descriptions.
Descriptions, behaviours, it's all there in it. Yeah.
I have no idea what Finane's rainbow is, Stephen, but I'll ask Andy because he probably will. What's Finane's
I
rainbow?
have got no idea. I've never heard of that. Let me have a look. I might know it's something else. Then again, I might not.
So Ben's a fae in drag, quite possibly. Yeah, but the Irish term that what I've just typed is actually pronounced as she in the Irish Gaelic, apparently. And I know it looks like it's spelled Siddy, but it's actually pronounced she. And that is part of what the proper Gaelic term for a banshee is banshee.
That's right.
Pots of gold untrue, lol. I don't think that's ever been proved one way or the other, has it, Andy, about the gold, from your point of view?
What with leprechauns?
Yeah.
They do like it, but it hasn't been proved that there's any gold at the rainbow. No.
Because apparently it weren't just pots of gold they hid at the edge, at the end of rainbows, was it? Apparently, I can't remember what the other thing was. They said that they used to hide there. There was pots of gold and somewhere else. Can't remember what it was now.
Right.
Streamlabs says the loyalty point scheme is now active. Well, we know that. But you know, when you start really looking into what what is considered fae, there is like hundreds of different things in that.
Oh, hundreds, yeah, loads.
And even if you look into things as like sprites,
Yeah,
there's then subfamilies of sprites and subfamilies of sylphs and all sorts
yeah,
of things.
yeah.
All different types of things.
I mean, I've said it many a time. I says we could get some of it spirit box saying a name, and we could think it's garble
Mm-hmm.
because there's that many different ones on them, and I would never pick up on it being a new one. It might have possibly have happened.
Yeah. Lee says, do the fae have kings, queens, and governments?
Yes, most definitely. We've had Fairy Queen come over a spirit box quite recently, and there's definitely they call it a council system.
Well, don't the Seelie and the Unseelie courts both have councils?
Yes, yeah, they do.
Right. Where was Joanne's next question? Do fae help the animals? Do any fae help the animals?
Help in what respect, Joanne? Because if it's helping to live, then yeah, your sort of elements and your elementals will help that, as they help any living, being. But just in general, you know, I don't think so. No more than what they'd. Oh, so like if they were to come across, no, I don't. They don't tend to interfere with stuff like that, really. Cause like the order of nature, if you will. Because
Well,
we are
I suppose they respect the circle of life, don't they?
that, yeah. Because like if you think about it, like most animals are carnivorous, aren't they? And when they're having to eat other animal, if they were forever stopping it, then they'd all die, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Have
So
they ever mentioned being preyed on by animals, Andy?
only loose. They have never mentioned anything themselves. Only loose thing we've ever read about was squirrels can be a little bit nasty with fairies.
Well, they're nasty little buggers in general, regardless of what people think about them.
Yeah,
They can be quite aggressive squirrels. They may look cute.
yeah,
They may
yeah.
look cute, but they're like a ferret with a bushy tail. Lee says, I was thinking today, Andy, have you studied about other cultures, i.e. Africa and America? They all have very similar beliefs, Lee. They call them
Yeah, they
different
do.
things, but they all have similar beliefs. Is there any links between cryptids and the Fae? Well, Bigfoot's an obvious one for that, isn't it?
Yeah, there is some links there. I mean, in my belief, anyway.
A cryptid's an unclassified animal currently, Lee. So you're talking things like werewolves, Bigfoot,
Chupacabra.
chupacabra, you know, unicorns, that kind of thing. But that's what your cryptids are. Is there anything else anybody else wants to ask? We can talk about anything. It don't just have to be the Fae. You can ask Andy.
Yeah,
You can ask
yeah.
Andy his opinion on other
Oh, of course
things.
you can.
I'll guarantee you he'll tie him to the Fae, but you can ask him. All right, Andy. Are the Fae responsible for the Bermuda Triangle?
I would say no.
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 I did think that was interesting what we got on that discussion a couple of weeks ago when I can't remember who it was who said it now, that they discovered a pyramid. Was it you?
Oh, me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's apparently a naturally formed quartz pyramid directly underneath it. But I saw some other day where they believe it's moving, don't they?
What, the
They believe
triangle?
it's they believe it's shifted 13 miles to north.
All right.
They've been doing like a tracker with new sort of activities going on. They've got like a pinpointed map, and it's shifted 13 mile up to north. Yeah, it's rather interesting.
Oh, I hadn't heard. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Lee says we all know you've got to hide your nuts to squirrels. Yeah, they look cute and furry, Lee, but believe me, you corner one and see how cute they are. What kind of food to leave out in the garden for the Fae? Stephen wants to know.
If you're leaving stuff out in garden or in wild, just go for stuff natural. You know, stuff that ever research like sort of ground animals. If you're putting it on ground, obviously, because you don't want to like cause any upset to any animals, because they'll probably eat the physical part of it.
See, I'm
Uh,
gonna try and get him addicted to Pringles.
yeah, yeah, try. It works for us. I mean, you'll find most rodents chocolate's healthy for them. So I'm kind of all right for in chocolate out myself, you know.
I wonder what do you think it is? Because chocolate is made from it's from the cocoa nut, isn't it? But, so it is actually made from a natural product.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's be honest, who don't like chocolate?
Well, this is it.
Tomatoes or lettuce, cucumber. Apparently they like cucumber, Stephen.
According to Verno, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that'd be fine. You know, just nice natural stuff.
They're quite partial to
Apples, stuff
cucumber.
like that. Yeah, go mad for cucumber.
And if you want to be nice to the gnomes, you can leave things like pennies and two pences,
Yeah, copper pennies,
copper
always,
coins.
always appreciated. And if it's somewhere really private, apparently copper is the same as any crystal. You can leave it out for moonlight to recharge to get its values back up.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I did ask for you, Lee. All you got was laughed at. Is there anything you could do that would really offend the Fae? Either food wise or actions wise?
Uh, Food wise, probably not. I was trying to think. Obviously, if you were to put actual meat out for them, they wouldn't touch it because they don't.
Yeah.
You know, I just think they disregard it. I don't think it'd offend them per se, but action wise, yes, there is many things that you can do that'll upset them.
Because they do come across as quite touchy, or certain types of them do.
Yeah. Um, you see, obviously, I've got to apply logic to this reason, right? But the cutting down of a tree.
Hmm.
Now, as we know, trees get cut down all the time. You know, not necessarily bad happens to anybody.
Hmm.
Don't know if they might just be struck with a common cold. Say, I don't know. It could be varying different degrees of what could happen to somebody, but that is one of the great offences: is to cut a tree down. I mean, in Ireland, they can still petition to governments to stop this from happening, and certain places will listen in Ireland and not do it. Apparently, there's a massive case where there were a lonesome hawthorn tree, and they built the motorway around the bloody tree because they daren't touch it.
Hmm.
You know, as we know, like we talked about earlier, that really superstitious. But you know, from what I know and what I deal with now, I wouldn't personally want to be cutting a tree down unless I got strict permission.
Right. So that,
Yeah,
that 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 would be the ultimate sin.
yeah,
I presume they do take into allowance with some people that they're doing it for a job. That they ain't
yeah.
necessarily cutting it down out of vindictiveness. I presume they'd probably take that into account.
yeah. But if it's just sort of, you see, that bungalow that's being built next to nature reserve.
The one I said should be burnt down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was quite interesting that you said that because they uprooted a cherry blossom tree
Right.
just for the sake of doing it
Yeah.
in that front yard, and there were a negative feeling on that lane for about 3 months.
Mhm.
I mean, I walked up there on my own one night. I'd been to see a friend, and I rate don't get touchy out anymore. But walking up there, I could feel their anger, and I had this pair of scissors because I'd been cutting some stuff out with a friend, and I actually had scissors in my hand, and I said to Becky, it felt like any minute something were going to attack. I don't think it were aimed at me. It was just the energy about what were happening around this bungalow. They just don't like it. So I says that family might be in for some trouble when they get it
Yeah.
built. You
Possibly.
know,
Well,
I'd love to.
you've got a batch of questions now, Andy.
Have a
Yeah. Right. The first one off Lee. Which fae has been around the longest, oldest?
impossible to answer. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Uh,
Maureen says, "Do the fae have names similar to ours?"
some do, yeah. Some are really bizarre. Some they'll give you what we found. Well, they'll give you a name that is closest to what we'd say it. In case with Stuart, that'll not be his true, pronunciation of a name, but
Mhm.
um, you'll find that there's some very cliche names. Like I once got a pixie fruit box that were called Tingleberry.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah.
cliche
Yeah.
a fairy sort of name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got one called Tinker that comes to see us. Again, and then we've got stuff like we met a gnome that gave the name Killis, which is strange but not too strange.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's varying names for them what they give. Um, well,
I'm sorry.
you're laughing at that.
Jason just sent me a GIF
All right.
followed by a question, and the GIF is Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Oh my
spinning a
word.
stake round, and he's put, "Does this look like my wand?" Does it seriously? No.
Oh dear. If he rocks up in Buffy cosplay, you've got to
Yeah.
send me a photo.
Yeah, it was quite worrying yesterday at the one thing because a couple of people were like carving stakes. Becky had made herself a nice wooden dagger. Jason had got a curved dagger. Andy had done a pointed one as well. It was starting to get a bit worrying about what people's intentions were.
A bit vicious.
Right, Stephen says, "How do you get permission to cut a tree?"
Exactly how you'd go and investigate any sort of entity. Easiest way is if you've got a spirit box, just go and ask. I have got an upcoming. I'm working on a little project of wood at minute where we had to cut a tree. We had to cut a branch, but we went and got permission, and we
Hmm.
did a spirit box prior to cutting. Obviously,
Right.
I said to Becky, I says I ain't gonna cut it if I even have got an inkling that it said to cut it. I'm gonna wait till I get home and replay it back just to listen to it. But it said it that clear that we did it on the spot. So
Yeah.
we've got that video to look forward to. So just get permission. Some people are sensitive enough to go up to the tree, put their hands on it, ask, and get that feeling like it's okay. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't trust that myself because I do trust that feelings are good sometimes, and you can get a negative feeling, but I won't trust that we aren't getting a voice over that box because I do trust the box. I think that's just the sort of icing. I mean,
Yeah, well, it was like yesterday when we finished with the wands. I actually put my hand on the stone altar and said thank you to it, and I noticed I got a funny look off somebody.
Really?
Hmm.
Ah. Whereas I don't see anything wrong with that at all. It's a mark of respect,
Yeah.
you know.
Okie coke. Mag says, are kobolds classed as fae?
Kobolds.
They are in Carnival Row,
You
which
know,
which I watched all 8 episodes the other day.
did you?
Mm. And it was quite funny to watch, knowing what I know, because how they'd like corrupted words slightly, because the Fae came from the city of Tirnanock rather than Tirnanog and stuff like that, and kobolds were there, they were in it. So
So,
go on, are they or aren't they?
I'd say yes. I'd say yeah. Because it's like it's on the thing of sprites, isn't it?
Hmm. Well,
So
that's pretty much how they were portrayed in Carnival Row. They were little, almost like tiny little miniature golems.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, but they were quite naughty and mischievous.
yeah. So I'd say yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna lose all my points now because Joanne's just julled me.
Really?
I've been letting them mass up all night. Right, let's get to the next one then. It was the one that Sam said, which I thought was really interesting. Uh, Here you go. Andy, a few months I found some round stones with owls painted on them with a small sign saying, feel free to take an owl home if you feel it will benefit your life. Really strange. I have one in the car.
I'm just going to read that. Where is it?
Scroll back up a bit. Sam's put it. That's really interesting.
I found some round stones with owls paint. Yeah, that'll be part of the probably the painting stone craze that's happening all over the world, isn't it? Um 'cause we used to do a little bit of that. You just paint a stone and hide it somewhere,
Hmm.
and then people find it and put a photo up. We got Barnsley quite prolific in that light, but
Yeah.
sounds like it's to do with that. I mean, to be honest, I think it's a really good thing. You know, um, there were a girl up there that found one. She was like, "Are you any good with symbols?" And I was like, "It depends what it is, you know." But when she sent it, it was original version at swastika, you know, with many legs and feet,
Hmm.
and it's basically, you know, a real life kind of style thing as well. Um, but yeah, painted stones are awesome.
Right. Joanne says, have any of the Fae given warnings to people?
Have any? Where is she? Where did she say that?
Keep scrolling down. I'm trying to scroll down, trying not to miss any questions.
Oh, you're still up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm frightened of going down too low to see that I've lost that jewel with Joanne.
All right, yeah. Have any of the thing given warnings to people? I've had a warning. I've had a few warnings.
Yeah, an headshot warning.
Yeah, Brett witnessed. We got a warning. I mean, they said they were friendly. They said they were elven or elf. You know, and I got you know, there was this archway in an elder tree that had been made with other trees and stuff. And when I asked if I could go inside it, they said it were a risk. So I went and did it anyway. Tried to show
Couldn't
them
get
that
in
we're
there
all right.
quick enough.
Okay. But it said on Spirit Box headshot, which, if you looked at folklore, elves really way back when were blamed for people having strokes. They would say that they'd shot you with an elf bolt and you'd have a stroke. So when I heard that straight away, tally up with elf that had come through box a little bit earlier, and then a clear headshot, I was like, yeah, that's a friendly warning not to do any damage or you know, which we weren't gonna anyway. We never do out like that. But yeah, I've had a few warnings in my time. The tickle at Walton Hall or a little friendly warning.
Hmm. Okay.
No, what that one was? It were me. We sort of got interaction going, and I was putting a time limit on it.
Yeah.
Because we've got the entire hall to do, and once you're in that place, time goes so fast.
Mhm.
It's unbelievable. So there's me going, look, come on, we need to close it down. We need to get it main hall, and this thing that called itself the boss fairy of that area took great offence, and with Tommy's permission, because it told me on a box that fairy tickled you. It said,
Mhm.
and it said Tommy permission. So you give permission for it to give me a friendly. Don't
Warning.
do that again.
Yeah.
Don't do that again. If you've got interaction, stick with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stephen Denny says, "What would happen if a tree was cut down?" I presume he means without permission.
Well, this is it. Like I said earlier, you've got to apply logic to it. You've got to understand the situation and why it's been done, who's done it. You know, like Brett said, there's some people's jobs to do it, even though I disagree with it. I do personally. I hate to see a tree that's been butchered and mauled. Um, I think if just it depends on your sensitivity to these things as well, because a lot of people are sensitive to them. They just don't know what they're dealing with. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? It's like why would an ancient woodland be haunted by a ghost of a person? It doesn't really make sense sometimes, but we can quite happily. Well, I can accept that it'd be a fae in there, and if you went in with a saw and just started cutting down, and that saw you knew you were sensitive, it's gonna do something.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it works. If you're completely shut off and you've got no resonance to anything paranormal, supernatural, I don't think sometimes they can break barrier to do out to you.
Right.
Because you're so shut off from it.
So it's best if to be a non-sensitive tree surgeon then, basically.
I would imagine so, but
Yeah.
for me, it had only been non-sensitive people that could actually do a job like that.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry if there's any tree surgeons in me, it's just the way I think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mag said she nearly cried when the council were messing with a bush. Oh, sorry. When they took loads of branches off a tree. Joanne seemed to think that was a good question. I'm pleased to announce I won the duel with Joanne. Yay, go me.
Oh, fantastic.
He's a really interesting one off Selena. Do Faye hate joiners? I presume it means carpenters.
Oh, my no, I don't think they would. If that were the case, they'd be hating us, wouldn't they, for making wooden ones,
Yeah.
and they don't.
Well, I think they do actually use wood in their own constructions, don't they? They
Yeah,
just
they
tend
do.
to grow it to how they want it more so
Yeah,
than.
yeah,
I don't think they're totally cold-hearted and expectant, because, like I say, with the wheel of life and with nature, they've got to understand that certain things have to happen, for life to continue.
of course.
So they've got to be accepting up to a point.
Yes.
Obviously they wouldn't be happy if you went to lock down their entire forest, and who would? But
Well, that's it, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they're total man haters.
No.
Here's a funny one off Lee. Do all Fae wear hats?
Not all. Not all of them wear hats, no. It is a very common thing. Quite a lot do, but not all.
Mm-hmm. Right, Sam's put. I lived in a village where no one would talk to me because I rented a house where a man cut a fairy tree down and died within months. I
Wow.
got the house because the guy who was to move in died as well. But why were they blaming you for that, Sam?
Yeah, it's really not your fault at all. Yeah.
Chris said, "Oh, hang on, my chat's just shot up a lot." Chris just said, "Back of the head you mentioned the other day, elf bolt." Yeah, and it was as clear as day. It was literally a single word, as he was because we were actually what I'll tell you the exact story of what happened. They said it's a risk, so he went flying into the archway, and then he was leaning on the archway, and
Yeah.
it moved slightly or made a noise, didn't it? Which Becky commented on,
Yeah.
and then straight away through the spirit box, as clear as a bell, it just went headshot. One single word.
And then my face kind of dropped, and I was like, "Oh no."
Let's see what else there is. Lee says, my missus, when her pet dies, would pick pebbles from the beach and paint their names on them like headstones in the garden.
Oh,
That's nice.
it is.
Mind you, I used to do that. Joanne's telling me I won the duel. Go me. Mag said, I was reading some excerpts from the Tibetan Book of the Dead the other day. Like reading. They mentioned the hungry ghost. I can't say I've heard that term before of you. No, I can't say I have, actually.
No.
Gotta be honest, I can't say I've heard that one. Hang on, I have to scroll up because there's more comes up. Then you got a load of people being compulsive gamblers. Becky says we once cut a partly broken branch off a tree, and about 20 minutes later, Andy was cutting a piece that had fallen and went to snap it, and I got it on the nose. I take that as a you cut us and we cut you, lol. There you go, Becky.
Oh, and that note, he were pissing with blood and nose. Yeah, it was bad.
Sam says people believe the house was cursed because the tree itself was famous in the village.
Mm.
Joanne thinks that a great attack from the tree on Becky. I don't think I'd be happy being attacked by a tree. Have you ever heard of a case of anybody being murdered by a fae, Andy? I know it's a strange question, but
Yes, I have. I've read a few cases of it. Um, and I kind of understand now. One of them, you know, when you talked about the peeing in a jar of nails, right? Well, not long ago, and I read it in one of my books that apparently the fae will not cross human urine,
right,
right? And obviously that sprung
yeah,
the remembrance of what you said,
hmm
and then obviously
and the
iron,
iron as well.
yeah, which they apparently don't like at all.
Yeah,
And I thought to myself, oh, what's all that about? But there's a famous tale of this woman in this cottage that used to throw urine out at window, you know, before toilet systems and drainages and stuff, and she just used to throw it out. And apparently there were a bunch of fae that used to troop past her house every day, and she was throwing urine out at them, and they made her unwell apparently. And in the story, she did die, and they pleaded with them to stop it,
yeah,
and they wouldn't, you know.
hmm
But yeah, there is stories out there. You know, obviously we don't know if there's any truth to them or whatever. But it also begged the question. So if that's an actual Wiccan witchy sort of process,
yeah.
if that were directed at the fae back in the day, why were they? What were they doing to upset them? You know, to need to protect themselves by doing that.
Yeah,
It
possibly.
it begs the question. You know, were they sort of harnessing some magical lessons from them and then offending them and then like putting
Yeah,
these things
yeah,
out to stop them getting in, and
yeah. To stop it.
you know, yeah. It makes you wonder. It does make you wonder.
Mag says apparently it's a ghost that has unfinished business. That's the hungry ghost.
Okay.
Joanne B says above. What was your most amazing spirit box response? I've had a couple actually. There's the one that I got on my introduction. It's on my introduction video on the channel where we were at Uber stand and I asked if the guy wanted to activate the K2 meter, and I got immediate no response in quite an indignant tone. That was quite an interesting one. One of the more interesting ones was when we were having the mimic activity in the kitchen with them calling the dogs in. I actually took the spirit box into the kitchen and I asked the question, why are you calling the dogs in my kitchen, and got the immediate response on the spirit box to talk, which I thought was odd. They obviously wanted to talk to the dogs, not me. One of the more interesting ones only happened a few days ago. I actually bought Robert's radio and hacked it, and I was just messing around with it the other day, and I only got it on for a few minutes, and and Jace was here, and I was just asking questions, and just for my own amusement, because people who know me know I like to torture Jason and play pranks on him. I said, "Is there anybody here that would like to talk directly to Jason?" And straight away got the response, "The human," which I thought was an interesting one as well.
It is.
And that was literally as soon as I said, "Is there anybody here that wants to talk to Jason?" There was literally a second or two's pause, if that, and straight away it was this voice that went, "The human." And I think Jace looked at me and I looked at him, because it was it weren't distorted or anything. It was like somebody was talking, and they basically said, "The human." So that was an interesting one as well. So I don't know whether they were calling Jason the human, or they were saying they were the human who wanted to talk, but it was literally the human straight away. Has anybody else printed in?
Lee's asked if you've got anything strange from your Alexa.
My Alexa is a complete weirdo, Lee. I do program her sometimes to say things to frighten Jason. I'll admit to that. We were watching a film about this creepy doll the other night, and while we were watching it, I actually programmed it to say the doll wants Jason halfway through the film, and it happened to trigger right at this really intense part of the film, and it scared the shit out of him. But yes, I've often been sitting in the house literally in total silence, reading a book or reading something on the internet with no sound, and Alexa has piped up with, "I don't know the answer to that," or some random definition of something I haven't even mentioned. And she did go through the phase where she giggled and laughed a lot. But yeah, I have had some creepy responses off Alexa. I've got to be honest, and she keeps lighting up now every time I say her name. Yes, Bewitched. I always do the tarot between 9 and 11, and then we just basically have a general chat after. But I've actually had it on. I've had it occur a couple of times recently in I'd say the last 3 months, where Bixby has come on as well on my phone, and I never use Bixby. But I've had Bixby actually answer questions I haven't even asked. So there you go.
Strange.
Yeah. Well, look at it. Look at it the other night when we were taking the piss out of Cat being asleep, and my stream went off, and my phone battery died, and my phone battery. My phone. Now I've had this phone 12 months now, and I have not once ran out of battery on this phone, and yet it discharged at exactly the same time as I lost internet the other night. And we were taking the piss out of Cat being asleep. Let's read. Is that strange from your Google? Yes, by which you have Mr. Tarot. She's murder Alexa. Mag says my Google Assistant just came on the other day and told me a joke about ghosts. I was like, what the fuck, lol? Yeah, I've had Bixby come on and just give me a definition of something. It's done that twice, and I don't even use Bixby. I've actually got Bixby switched off on my phone. So why Bixby answered something, I have no idea. But Alexa is murder for it. absolutely murder for it. And Jace will tell you he's been here sometimes when she's piped up with things. Sam, in Dunry Fort, if I'm pronouncing that right, I kept looking out the window to make sure no one was about, and when I turned on Spirit Box and got, in a weird voice, "You're looking out the window," me and Rachel nearly shit ourselves. Yeah, when things like that happen, Sam, it does. You know, regardless of how much experience you've had with stuff, it does freak you. You know, I
They're
don't care.
always watching.
Yeah, I don't care how seasoned you am with any kind of investigation. They still have the moments where they freak you.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, I can do Bewitch next week. I always
Yeah,
do them on a Sunday Bewitch, but I always do the actual readings between 9 and 11 because after 2 hours, one, I'm totally dry throat. Two, I'm desperate for a smoke, and three, I'm mentally knackered by that point of doing it any farther.
yeah, but we can add it onto first at list for next week if you're
Yeah,
doing one.
yeah, she can be
Yeah,
first on
cool.
the list for next week. Hi, Nikki. Um, I wouldn't mind. It was a crap jokey. That's off Mags. Yeah, you know, like I say, them two Bixby things, I couldn't even tell you what it was now, but it was things I'd never even heard of. But my Bixby's actually switched off on my phone. It ain't used. Andy, would you do that, please? And Bewitch for a reading next. Yeah, yeah. I'll do
Yep,
Bewitch
started.
first for next time. Stephen, I've seen on YouTube about Electra acting straight. Yeah, there was a phase, Stephen, when she suddenly started cackling for no apparent reason. And it got that bad that Amazon had to release an update to stop her doing it. And it really, and she minded it, and it really was the creepiest laugh you'd ever hear. Brett Andy, have the cards or Faye ever given you any lottery or betting numbers where you have won? Lee, the cards ain't actually a predicting. You know, you're not actually getting information with the cards from an outside source. I don't because a lot of people try and rant on about the spirits, blah blah, coming in and telling you blah blah blah. I personally don't believe that. I believe that the cards work via intuition. You know, I don't
I'll,
believe there's somebody whispering in my ear telling me things. I in no way claim to be a medium or, psychic in any way, shape or form in that way.
I'll tell you one thing I did try years and years and years ago when I was getting into pendulums, because I got three people set in a row with a 10 pence coin, passing it between them, and all pulling it out and doing the old closed hand technique and the pendulum on it 5 out of 5 times. Yeah. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. We did some other testing stuff anyway. I put out all lottery numbers on a sheet and I told it to give me a yes on 6 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Good
I
night,
got
Mags.
nine mags, and I got 6 numbers come out on yes. So I put them on lottery. I got 3 numbers that hit, so I won a tenner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the fucking that's what. But the lottery ticket disappeared out of the kitchen cupboard. Gone. Thin air.
The ticket disappeared.
Yeah.
They
Ticket
weren't going to let
disappeared.
you benefit from their wisdom.
Nope.
Ain't that weird, though?
Yeah. Yeah. Disappeared out, and that were at my mum's house, and she wouldn't have pinched it. She were amazed that it were like, oh wow, I can't believe you've won it. Like, you've got half on it. That kind of thing. But no, ticket just vanished. Gone.
Fuzzy Wuzzy Joanne, Fuzzy Wuzzy was another weird thing last week, weren't it, Andy, when we brought him downstairs and he was working fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the battery just went on him and it was a brand new thing. But now I'm saving Fuzzy Wuzzy for. I ain't going to say anything at the moment, but there's a possible collaboration coming up. So
Mm.
Fuzzy Wuzzy will be going there. Let's see, blah 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 blah. Everybody's saying goodnight to Mags. Ask her, she forgot, lol. Oh right, somewhere else. But yeah, Fuzzy Wuzzy will be coming out a lot more now. It was interesting when we were doing the stream was it about 2 weeks ago, Andy?
Yeah, I think it
And
was
he
like that.
sat there nice and quiet, lovely all night long, and then we got on to a certain topic regarding the Fae, and then Fuzzy Wuzzy just wouldn't shut up. And he went on for about 5 minutes constantly, and he just got louder and louder and louder with his beep. But that was really interesting, that one, and then he didn't do it again the rest of the night. But he was like, at that particular part of the conversation, he was insistent that there was a message coming across.
Mhm. I think it's amazing how they do that with REMs. It's
Yeah,
like one of the sort of yes, you're on, work on that bit that you're talking about kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I can put Fuzzy Wuzzy out for the next readings, Joanne. The only problem is I can't get Fuzzy Wuzzy and the cards in the shot, because if I put Fuzzy Wuzzy in the shot, the
He'll take
cards,
up all shot.
yeah, the cards are going to be too small for people to see. So what I'll do, I'll sit him behind the cards, and then you'll hear him if he beeps. Yeah, it was really weirdly, and then the Friday night I did a stream, and stream had been perfect all night long, and then about 2.5, 3 hours into the stream, weren't it, Andy?
Mhm. Yeah.
The stream just cut off totally, and my phone battery discharged at the same time. Really weird. And then got the stream going again, no problems at all. But it had run perfectly fine all night long, perfectly fine. But yeah, I'll sit Fuzzy Wuzzy behind the cards next week, and then if he starts buzzing, that should be interesting. But
It should be.
it was really weird that his battery had gone, because it was a brand new battery, and I'd only used him a couple of times. Selena said, my mum said I had Fuzzy Wuzzy hair when you do not realise the significance of that statement, Selena. Oh,
Dear.
Joanne's getting serious with the dueling now. Fuzzy Wuzzy Stephen is my Rem bear that Andy made for me. And he was actually named on the stream. I did a lottery where people could pick a name, and funnily enough, Andy's significant better actually won the lottery. So he was called Fuzzy Wuzzy. I actually let the viewers name the bear, but he's this lovely. He's quite a big bear. He's lovely blue bear with blue leads and stuff, and he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But he's got an aerial sticking out of his head, so he's a lot more sensitive than your average bear. And he can be musical as well as beeping as well, which I love
He can.
about him. So if anybody wants a Rem bear, Andy's the man to get in touch with, because Andy builds them, and
It does.
he actually builds them uh, a better way than the ones you normally pay hundreds of pounds for, because they do come with an antenna, and they've also got the option of playing musical tones as well as normal beeps. He's amazing. Yes, Joanne wanted to call him Bear Bum, but there was no way I could call him that, because once he started appearing on streams, I'd have probably got copyright struck or something for it, or community violation.
Community violation, that's the one.
Yeah. There you go. You got a potential customer in Stephen, Andy.
Yeah, cool. Whereabouts in world are you based, Stephen?
It's right. You got to wait for the delay to come through.
Yeah.
And Lee's happily teaching Selena the chat games. That's a very roundabout way of chatting somebody up, Lee. I'll show you how to play chat games. Maidstone. That's Kent, I think.
Oh, right, so you're in this country. That's cool. We usually do them with postage at about 55 quid.
And believe me, the bear you get, you'd pay well over 100 quid for if you bought it anywhere else. So that is literally half the price of what you'd pay for a good bear. Plus, you'll get one with the antenna that's literally about 5 times more. Oh, shut up! Nobody asked your opinion. Sensitive than a normal bear. Plus, Andy will send you a picture of bears, and you can pick your bear.
Aye. If we've got a few in stock, you can pick your own. Or we can go hunting a particular colour down or whatever.
Or you can even send him a bear.
Oh yeah, we can do that. We can do that as well. If you've got a particular that you've got like from childhood that you liked or whatever.
You can even pick what colour ledge you want on it, Stephen.
Yeah, we offer full range from like ultraviolet to yellow, red, green, even multicoloured if you wanted it.
Yeah, I'm reading your mind again, Joanne. And that is not a healthy thing to do with a cucumber. Or a cactus.
Should call them Rembear's Marvellous Mark. Oh dear.
Yeah, but people will probably think it was the other one.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah,
I'd have to put little lip piercings in them and stuff.
yeah. And an eye stud and shave them. Yeah, we did get some quite rude suggestions for Fuzzy when we was picking his name. But yeah, the bear I've got, Stephen, he's sitting down. He's a foot tall. He's a big bear, but he's absolutely brilliant. He sits on my keyboard in the bedroom. I keep threatening Jace that I'm going to turn it on one night and just leave it running all night long. He'd be out the bed and downstairs if it went off. I'm going to join one of these heists because I ain't joined one tonight and I'm going to lose all my money. I could just grant myself loads of points, but that's cheating.
You could.
Anybody else got any questions? Andy loves talking about the Fae.
Oh, sometimes.
There you go. Bears with footy team badges would be cool.
Yeah.
See, the thing I like about Andy, Lee, is you can actually switch them to the musical tones. And I think that, if you're into contacting, if you're going somewhere where there's believed to be a child spirit, I think, they'd find the musical bear more approachable than one that screams beeps at them. And that's what's good about him. It's literally just the press of a button to change between beeps and musical.
I mean, I could possibly do them into dolls and all sorts,
Yeah.
like.
Oh, you should stick one in Sam's one-eyed doll. Yeah, bears in sexy underwear.
That'd be them bad taste bears from '90s.
I actually, back in the Midlands, I knew a guy who was manager of one of them Build-A-Bear shops.
Oh yeah,
And for his boyfriend for Christmas, he did him a bondage bear. I,
brilliant.
the picture of it was amazing, Andy, I tell you. I ain't telling you what it was up to and what he got, but it was... Lee says, do the Fae have any horns?
Yes. Yeah, there's a few. The one that we met at Samhain, the puka is, in its true form,
Yeah,
has
he's
got
horned.
horns. Yeah, and then a lot of your sort of upper hierarchy guardians, like Pan and Fawns and all that, have all got horns.
See, the thing is, Lee, this is why this is where the Christians get Satan and horned demons from. They basically took elements of paganism and corrupted it to turn people against it. And that,
Yeah,
Satan is basically Pan,
yeah,
or what pagans call the horn god or the Lord or whatever, a particular pagan's beliefs are. And neither Pan, the own God, the Lord, whatever, they're not evil. Never were. It was just
No.
that the Christians used it as an excuse to turn people against paganism. Bewitched said she'd like a muscle bear, wouldn't we all?
Oh dear.
Oh, musical. Already it says muscle.
Even worse.
They're all
Oh dear.
they're bewitched. They're all musical. Basically, there's a button on them, and you can press them between beeping like a REM pod or playing a musical tune.
Yeah, they come with two settings on chipboard, so you can flick between.
Oh, there you go. Bewitched said she'd like either muscle or musical. But yeah, all the bears that they come standard as all you can switch them between normal beeping and musical. Fuzzy Wuzzy can play a tune if I press his button. Press the right buttons on the bear. Are they good and bad fae? Maureen wants to know.
Uh, when you look into Seelie and Unseelie, yeah, they're not necessarily bad. They're just they just don't want out to do humankind. The Unseelie. The only true bad one that we know of so far is the red cap, which will go out of its way to attack anything it comes across, even its own kind.
Yeah, apparently it gets its name because it likes to soak its cap in the blood of its victims.
Yes.
Oh, have you seen that? What Sam's put? Brett, I have a baby doll with a robotic head and mouth and eyes. Move. It scares the shit out of me. I'm installing a REM circuit in that. It'd be burnt.
Uh,
It'd be burnt, Sam. I'm sorry. Stationary dolls and bad enough. Ones that move are even worse. The hills are alive with the sound of music. But yeah, I do think that it's a really good feature because if you do take it anywhere where there's rumours of child spirits, I think it'd work a lot better for kids because kids are more liable to approach something that's musical rather than screaming beeps at them. So you've always got that option with it. It's like an extra feature on them. So there you go, Stephen. If you want a bear, you're going to need to contact Andy through either his Facebook page or through his YouTube channel.
either's good.
Yeah. What's too much information, Lee? I'm at that stage of the night where I've got no filter.
We can tell.
Not that I've got much of one at any time of the day, but Bewitched says, whereabouts are you, Andy? He's in Barnsley.
Barnsley, South Yorkshire.
Yeah, you can get Christmas out of the way and then you can sort you one. It's Barnsley. Up north, that's right, yeah.
Oh.
I'm just having thoughts about that doll that Sam's got. Do you know, I actually saw something the other day and somebody was making out that this doll was moving on a video, and I am convinced that it was actually something similar to what Sam was describing there,
All right.
because they claim this doll moved when they left the room, but they did a video, and when they were filming the part before they left the room, just before they left the room, the doll started moving and they cut that bit of the video off while they were
Really?
there, and they never commented on it. And I honestly think that is one of them dolls that they're using to convince people that that it's an haunted doll, when in fact it isn't. I bet I died in that What's It, didn't I? I bet I died in that ice. I weren't watching. See, Stephen, I don't do dolls in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, look, I lost all my points. I'm back to 235. I had 1,000 odd when before that iced. Yeah, I ain't a big. Oh, Selena says bad pagan stuff seemingly involved in Chris Watts' murders in Colorado have come to light. Has any been following it? Have you heard anything about that, Andy?
Absolutely nothing, no.
What pagan connections were there? Selena? Sam's put ETA Paranormal have a similar doll to the one I have and they use it as an experiment. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what your doll looks like, Sam, because this one I saw the other day, to me, I got the impression that they knew it was going to move, put it that way. Yeah, I hadn't heard any pagan links with the case. I know there's some. Yeah, I know who he is, Chris Watts. I know there's some big conspiracy theory now that it never even happened and it was all faked. Yeah, I did as well, Lee. I lost 1,000 points. Is there any fae you wouldn't want to meet, Andy?
No, I want to get as many collection under my belt as possible. That was one of his sort of missions from Tommy, to try and meet as many as we possibly could. It's like a milestone kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited if I hear a new one come off a box. I'm like, whoa, that's another one for list. You know.
All right. Apparently, his mistress was into paganism, but as far as I'm aware, she weren't even involved in the killings, was she? She was proven innocent. See, and you're bordering on, anything like that. I would have thought would have been more along the lines of Satanism-y type stuff, more so
Yeah.
than genuine paganism. Although they do fall under the fold of paganism. Well, actually, they don't because they're following the Christian deity, so technically they ain't pagan.
Yeah. That's correct.
So to me, it's probably more of a no involvement but brainwashing him. See, to me, that would come under Satanism type things.
Mhm.
It is a Luvanella doll. It is a robotic doll. It can move mouth, eyes, and breathe in and out.
Sounds ghastly.
Yeah, does actually. Oh God, no. You know my opinion on dolls, Andy. They should all be burned. Yeah, Lee, no worries. I won't be stopping on late myself tonight because I've got to go out tomorrow and I've got a shitload to do before I go. But yeah, no problem. You have a good night, Lee.
See you later, Lee.
Okay. Let's see
I
if I can.
think I
Go
think
on.
thing is, Selena, as well, that a lot of media will try and put a negative spin on paganism as well. So they can use it in a bad light because there's people still do out
Oh, yeah.
there.
Well, the media for a start off. Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I ain't got any facts or in front of me, or I'm just like generalizing it. But they do sort of anybody that's a little bit different, they will use it.
Oh, yeah. And there's no denying that there is cults out there who do still practice it. There's no doubt about that. But for me, it it's more. Although it did go on in deep dark past, even the druids used sacrifices and stuff.
Yeah,
But not in modern day. I ain't heard of any modern day druidism practices involving anything like that. He said she was dark and giving him drinks to cleanse him, and was obviously giving him cups of Dettol. Or some kind of liquid infused with sage.
Becky
But,
could be blamed for something like that with all this tea she's got you all obsessed with.
well, it ain't killed me yet, and I've nearly finished the bottle. I'm still here. I might
For
not
how
wake
long,
up,
we don't
but I'm
know.
still here. But yeah, that thing you mentioned earlier on about with the urine and the nails is quite interesting because that is one of it's one of the most powerful what you'd call an anti-X charm or or
Yeah,
a reflection ritual. The peanut and it's interesting that they do mention that it does have to have the iron nails in it. It's not just
yeah.
peeing in a jar and you bury it on your property and it's supposed to protect your property. Uh,
Somebody found one not long ago, didn't they? It got put out into media.
oh, I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, they found this green old bottle with nails in a unidentified liquid.
Yeah, which would have been urine.
Yeah, and a lot of sort of practitioners were like, "Oh, it could be urine," you know what I mean?
Mm.
And they found it inside a chimney stack of this old house.
Yeah, well, that was another common place to put them, and
Yeah,
that is the same with what they call poppets as well,
yeah,
which is like the Wiccan form of a voodoo doll, but it's used in a positive way, not a negative way. You don't stick pins in it or nothing,
no,
but it is actually used, to represent a person or persons, but not a specific person.
yeah.
He's an interesting one off Joanne. Do any of the Fae like coffee?
Yes, they do. I can guarantee you, right? Our major gnome friend that comes to see us does like a cup of coffee putting down if we're having one.
Don't you have any of Becky's special brew?
Oh yeah, we put that out as well. If we make it, we put it on offering table.
Cool.
I think that time when Jamie come, when Fairy Queen come over at box, it were banging on about tea, and Becky were like, "I put you some heart on dish."
Yeah, they're like me. They're addicted to it. What? Why do you think? Have they ever explained the iron connection, Andy?
No, they haven't mentioned it personally, so it's not one of them things that I actually know. Yeah, obviously, I'll read about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I like them to confirm stuff as well. But it's not a subject I've touched on because I don't want them to think, "Why is he asking about iron if it is true?"
Yeah.
If they approach me and say, "Oh, look, don't fetch iron table," kind of thing,
Yeah.
then I'll sort of, because obviously there's iron pyrite, isn't there, as a crystal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one at days we went down to the stone table,
Well, ain't iron pyrite called fool's gold?
fool's gold, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody did leave a lump of iron pyrite on that table,
Hmm.
and I were a bit like, oh shit. When I found out about it,
Yeah.
do I leave it? Do I not? But yeah,
See,
'cause I think
I'd have probably took that off.
I did eventually. I think gnomes would be all right with it because any sort of metal is good. Is good with gnomes. But
Yeah.
I think it's mainly aimed at the fairies themselves.
Yeah. Because
The black,
what I've what I've always read about, I knew elves didn't like it,
yeah,
but I didn't know it was like right across the spectrum,
yeah.
which is quite interesting. I wonder what it is. Do you think it might be the magnetic properties of it?
Well, I don't know because I thought magnetism had been all right, because copper's quite like sort of. It's a good channeling. It's nicely magnet.
Yeah, but
Um,
the thing is, copper is more electric in it, whereas
well,
iron
yeah, I
is more
suppose.
related to electromagnetism.
I don't know. It's like
Kaya's farted, that's nice.
Oh.
What a lovely meaty smell, Kaya. You know, because if they are coming from like, like you say, they've got their own realm that they go in and out of.
Hmm.
If that is all to do with vibration and magnetic fields, it could explain partly why they don't like iron.
It very much could be. I mean, because if you think about it, with prisons being iron bars, the
Yeah,
old classic,
yeah.
you know, to keep something trapped as well, maybe that's where that come from back in there.
And the thing is, with the responses on the K2s and the REM bears, it's blatantly obvious that they generate an electromagnetic field.
Yeah,
So maybe the ions, in some way interferes with it. Maybe it may not be actually lethal to them, but it may be something that like
might
disrupts
weaken them
that
a little bit.
and
Yeah,
sends and possibly sends them back.
maybe so. Like either a repellent or a
Yeah.
weakener. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. But like I say, it's one of them things I think I'd prefer them to breach me about rather than me,
Yeah.
just in
Yeah,
case they
because
get
they
nippy.
might take it the wrong way, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have you seen who's top of the points table?
I don't know. Who is it?
I'll put the command in for you again. You'll see. You'll see in a minute.
She's grinning at me. I know already who it is.
There you go. Look,
Ah, she got that many.
compulsive gambler. I ain't even on the list. Look.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's depressing. Oh, right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to wind it up for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for having Andy on again. We're doing
Thank you.
another stream on Friday. If Andy wants, you coming on that one?
I can do.
Yep.
We've also got us own. If I'm all right to say,
Feel free.
we've also got a stream Thursday night. Be about 8 o'clock, and it will be introducing our new team member Ellen to everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, that should be cool.
So there you go. You'll meet the new member of Elemental Encounters.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yep. And she's a very nice lady.
She is.
So thank you all for coming, and I'll say a good night to you all, and thank you again to Andy.
No problem. Anytime.
Right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you later.
Night.